I'm making a decent amount of money. I don't want to end up losing everything. I'm not that crazy. I don't care who you are. For me,
Zongo, my brother, do you
for me
care
the
about?
bag means a lot to me. I'm not just gonna just because. No, I don't. I don't roll that way. You know, I knew how I struggle in Ghana from my own country looking for a job opportunity. I'm not gonna come to the US and just give that away for because oh the person belongs to my same. It has to be in addition to maybe beauty or the futures that I'm looking for. You have to have a good character. There has to be understanding between cultures. And we have on the same length. Not if we have conflicts, how are we going to resolve it instead of just you just going. Especially in
Zongo, it's
Washington
just
State.
for black people to believe that we are inferior, man. I don't know, man. I don't know why we're trying to explain all this nonsense and wasting time. We think white people are better than us. There's no need to explain this. It's really that simple. We really think white people are better than us. Hence, the black man is forever chasing the white woman. It is a fact. If black men can have access to date white women, believe me, they will neglect all the black women and go for white women.
That's not true,
That's just the
Lozi.
reality.
That
That's not
that's not true. That's not true. I don't
not
agree with
true.
you.
Like maybe in your country that's maybe
See,
common,
let me
but
tell you something. When I came here, I've dated a couple of white women over here, right? And I've even had an experience with one woman telling me she was even pregnant. I'm like, what? Man, you gotta go. You understand? I even had to delete the number. I mean, not everybody, the mindset's also kind of, some people just want to have kids. Some people want to do that. For me, I kind of
Zongo,
think,
I think the black people like to lie to themselves so much. There's this thing of us just being
let's
yeah, but
just don't
I agree what you say.
honest.
Maybe
We don't like to be honest. We don't
generally,
like
but
to be honest, guys.
ah,
Especially as Africans. I'm always on this panel. I always listen to you guys. Most of the times, we like to not be honest about reality. We just don't like it.
okay, hold on, Liz. So when you say like being with, you mean like married or what, or just sexual pleasure?
Zongo, you are an exceptional to the rule. Personally, I like dark women. That's who I am. I haven't said it before, but I'm not. I'm an exceptional black man. Most of our brothers, they are attracted to lighter skinned women. In fact, if they could be with white women, they will choose them over their own. Zongo, it's a fact. We don't need to run around the bushes and not acknowledge this reality. And maybe if we start to be honest as Africans and acknowledge the reality, maybe we might even be better. That's my point. We want to explain in reality. You know how our brothers respond, Zongo. I'm sure if you've lived most of your life around black men, you know I'm not lying, man. I'm
Oh
not
no, no,
making
yeah,
this shit
no.
up.
In America, the black community, I think most of them they might pretend that they don't there's white supremacy or something like that, but they really
Zongo,
mhm,
Zongo, you live in America, right? Yeah.
yeah.
In America, if Black Americans had, let's say, if Black people in America had the what's it called? What Lozi said about having access, would they marry out in large numbers if they had access to those white women or whatever community of women they want to marry out? Because I find that very
No,
difficult to believe.
no, no. They would just make them baby
Yeah,
mamas.
well, hang on, hang on. Let me add something context here, right? So I don't fully agree with Lozi, but I also agree almost there, right? So let me tell the part I don't agree. Lozi, African men love African culture. So maybe you're talking about Black American men, but African men, like, do you think a Nigerian man is gonna go and marry a white woman unless he converts her to start cooking egusi soup for him every morning? That's
No,
the part you're missing. So
that's okay. I'll tell you what
yeah,
I'll do if I was married to a woman, let's say from America. Let's say she was Black American. She has to basically be converted to Somalism. I'll have to take her back to the country. She has to make Somali tea. She has to make
yep,
sabaid and suqar. She has to basically
exactly.
Well, yeah, yeah, I mean, of course,
because
my brothers.
I'll tell you why, yeah. Why I wouldn't pick a white woman? A white woman, she can't take care of herself hygienically.
Oh, hold on, Doctor
She's
R.
not
I want
physically. I'll tell you why. A white woman, she's not physically attractive. She will not
Yeah.
understand me mentally and physically. And the black woman, maybe I could convert her culturally because there's an
Yeah,
understanding. Zunga could
that's a
agree
good
or
point.
disagree.
So let
I
me
want
give
hold on,
one more thing. Wait, hang
hold
on,
on.
Zongo. Let me
Okay.
just say this, and then we'll let Shaw he hasn't spoken for a while, then you can go after. Like for example, for me, I'm dating a Oromo woman, right? I went back to my culture, I found someone there because that's my tribe, that's my culture, right? Guess what? I love Oromo food, right? I love Somali food. I love also Swahili food. Now I don't really like Wanga food, right? Because Wangas don't have good food. The only thing Wangas have is high IQ, but they don't have good food. So yeah, culturally speaking, there's no reason way I would have married a white woman or someone that was culturally so dissimilar. Because I don't want to sound like Kidola, right? Shout out to Kidola, but being obsessed with food. But culture wise, I got to be with someone who understands some basics about me that I'm willing to go along with. But yeah, let's let show go. Then you can go ahead, Zongo. Our Fulani brother has been muzzled. Sorry, my Fulani brother. What's good?
No, no, no,
Greetings.
no, no. You're good, and I think I like this line, and we should promote that. As I say, I grew up here in the United States for over 30 years. I've dated every kind of woman in my life in that 30 years, and I choose to when I ready to get married, I went back to my culture. I went back to Africa and married someone the traditional way, the African, my African way, which I never even dated this woman, but I talked to her for years upon years until the marriage night is the first night we finally met as um, um, in any physical sense. But I went to that culture. And the reason I did that, I grew up with 16 brothers. I grew up in a huge family. I got 32 brothers and sisters. And from what I saw with their marriages, the ones that married African American women or different culture tend to fail.
That's a good
See
point.
quite a few, I see quite a few divorce
Yeah. And like I was
from my
saying, I mean,
sisters, from my
yeah.
sisters and my brothers that went out.
And like I was saying, I mean, if this conversation is just restricted to just marriage, then I mean it's gonna be deeper than that. I mean, as
Mhm.
far as like having sexual accessibility, I mean I don't care whether you're black or something. As far as I mean I get
Yeah.
access to sexual intercourse. I don't care. I mean,
Access to the sill, the sill.
yeah, exactly. But when it comes to marriage, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah,
American folks are conditioned different way. They look in physical, traits. For me, I look deeper than that. Not just physical trait. I don't want to lose my wealth. I don't want. I want to have.
Zongo, no disrespect, my brother. Yeah, no disrespect to you since you live in America. No disrespect to the country you immigrate from. If I was a rich guy, yeah, and I said to each woman, right, yeah, I know this is gonna be fucked up what I'm about to say, yeah. I sit down with them and I interview them and I say, listen, I'll give you 100,000 in cash. I'll buy you a $300,000 house, and there's one thing I want from you. I want to plant my seed in you, and I don't want to hear from you ever again. Yeah, and you say to the next white woman, same thing, Latina, Asian, different types of women. You spend, let's say, 5 million on this sick thing that mans are doing. Basically, you want to basically spread your seed. What percentage of American women would be happy with that arrangement? I'll give you $100,000 in cash, and I pay, let's say, $10,000 a month.
Oh, a lot of them will do. I mean, they want.
No, no,
Yeah,
no. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. You could be no, 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 no. You could come from the most conservative family, whether it's Muslim, Christian, Hindu, and you're paying them ten. You give them $100,000 in cash. You buy them $100,000 or $200,000 house with no mortgage and
but
everything. You give them ten
but
thousand a
hold on,
month. No, but let me finish here.
but
ten
hold
thousand a
on,
month.
but
But,
hold
but
on,
the purpose of it,
but
the
hold on.
purpose of it is you want to spread your seed for sexual reasons, and they're happy with it. I swear to God, yeah, I swear on Allah, a lot of them will be happy with that arrangement.
of course,
Well,
of
well,
course.
that apply to a lot of societies. So you cannot just say that's an
Yeah,
American thing.
yeah.
That applies to a lot of societies. You
A lot
can
of
you
time.
can do that to a lot of societies around the world,
Yeah,
including where you at right now.
Of
yeah.
course, yeah, but
You know. So
as
so
far
that
as
and,
like
that
and
that's
on top
not
of
just
that, they're gonna get welfare. On top of that, Zongo in America, if a man buys a woman a house, a- and she basically buys her the house, and he gives her money, can she still get welfare? Because I know they can.
no, you can't get welfare because you have to disclose how much you're making a month in order to get qualified for that. It's solely based on your income. So, let's say, even coming from Ghana, like when I came here, I was looking for like cheap houses to stay, just to maximize my my earning, my savings account. And I noticed that there are certain apartments that if you don't make certain amount of income, you're not gonna have it. If your income goes beyond that, it's not meant for you. It's meant for people making uh making amounts to a certain range. Mostly the welfare. So that's how it works. So you're not
So Zongo,
Ooh, wait 1 second, Doctor. Just 1 second. Issei Shire says Kaiserorian Empire. Did you see the stat that Black Caribbean population in the UK is declined because they marry out the race, mix children? What I've noticed about the Caribbean society community in the UK is there's a lot of quarteroons, so like quarter white children going around because there's a lot of mixed race and then they marry black. So there's a lot of quarter caste kids you see like okay they look black obviously, but you can obviously see an admixture, and it's not like an East African admixture because they don't have the long head. But yeah, 100%. I've seen that a lot.
Funny.
so like, where you from, man? You live in New York?
who me?
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, no, sure. The Fulani brother.
So
By the way, Fulani brother,
I
do
live in
you
Washington,
have you ever
Oh,
heard that?
hold on, Shaw. You live in Washington State or Washington?
D.C., Washington D.C.
Oh, okay. I'm in Washington State.
The real Washington, not the
Yeah.
fake one.
You right. Hey, no cap. Like when I had my job first, I thought I was gonna go to DC. And I
Come
look
to
at the map,
D.C.
and I look at the map,
Come to
and it took me all the way to the western coast of America. I'm like, what? I gotta drive 30 days to get to that place. 30 hours to get to that place. I'm like, whoa.
Zongo. The good thing is about Washington State is that you got like the pale porn chicks over there. The north, you are the sexier the porn white chick you'll get, the pale ones,
Oh yeah,
and the
yeah, yeah.
freakier they
This
are.
is true. This is true. This is
Yeah.
true.
No, but I've never been to America yet, but if you go to places like Oregon, Idaho, like the northern states, you come across those freaky, attractive, pale, white-skinned women, and if you're a darky, they're gonna run to you because they're hungry, but they won't show it to you.
You got a point there, my friend. You got a point there. I went to college in the South, and I experienced some of that. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, so
Zongo,
okay, sure. I got a question.
And
The
then
Zongo,
like
what?
Fulani from
like and then like
said,
Lozi was saying that some I remember like there are certain time like there are sometimes when I came here to the US like very new, sometimes you just go to the bar and then especially go to state that you rarely see like black people. Sometimes some of the white women they just want to give you a shot. Just want to sleep with you and see how it feels like. So I think it's just an individual preference at the end of the day. I mean, but I get
but
what you're
let me ask
saying
you
when
a
it comes to
question, Zongo.
marriage. Uh-huh.
Zongo, I got a question. Do you think that black men have insecurity issues? Yeah, because like I said, I've seen good, like, no homo, right? But I've seen good-looking black men discuss and have platforms over, or can I get East African women? Can I get an Asian woman? Can I get white women? When realistically speaking, you're a decent-looking guy and you got enough money. W- Do you think that black men just have a bit of insecurities and self-loathing? Because those conversations because we're not having that conversation here, right? Why do you think that in all these other channels that those conversations are key? Like
It's the
again,
it's
he's
the
a looking guy and he's got money and he's worrying about getting a woman from a specific region. That's insane to me.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
think it has to do with the American society. You can be see that the
Mm.
one time, even when this one time I went to a block strictly because when I came to Washington, I just wanted to visit like a black club or black bar where just strictly black people are, and sometimes you meet like decent looking black men, and they get rejected by black women. So the
Well, well,
insecurity comes
well,
from their own group. I'm
well.
What's
like,
what's wrong with
and I'm
the?
gonna
And
look at them. I'm like. Even the guy
it's
that was
not just.
even the guy that was telling you that when he was growing up, black women never like him. He's not really like dark, like African dark like that. If he goes to Africa, it's gonna be that easy for him. But they never like him, right?
Congo.
In America,
Well,
right?
my friend, my, my,
Well,
my friend, my, my friends, if you go back into the American history and the American leadership in every part of American leadership, if it's sports to entertainment, to even the civil rights movement, you will see a lot of our black men end up marrying white women because it's this insecurity to be to feel to be part of acceptance. You see that. You go all
Yeah.
the way to the oldest things. It's the new generations now that do not do that. But if you look at it in African American history in America, this is part of our history. We married white women. If you look at the sports, the big sports stars, the Tiger Woods, even the Michael Jordan today,
You're right.
you know. So
Kaiser, like,
this is the culture thing.
I don't know
Can,
whether it
can I
was
just
Dr. R or Kaiser who asked me. And you're right. It's insecurity, but mostly it's because they can't get the kind of woman they want in American society. You
can I
know,
so Zongo, I wanted to
can I
say
just
like,
say something?
why would a black woman reject a decent black man? And unless if you're going for the hood rat ones, just say you're a thug.
yo, it's like I mean, black women they like light skinned men. You know, I think for some
No, I'm
reason
No,
that's
talking
no,
about the
Zongo,
average.
Zongo. That
No, I'm
hang on,
talking
hang
about
on.
the
Yeah, Zongo. That light skin stuff that was in the 2000s. I don't know about America, but in the UK, Doctor Ara, that lasted for like 3 years, 2000 to 2003. It ended after that. How come in America that's still a thing?
Well, I don't think it's so much a thing in America. I think our problem we have a real moral and spiritual breakdown in the African American and the Black American society. So it's much deeper than that. Hence, I'm going back to this where you see a lot of tons of single women and single parents home in the American society, if you look at it based on demographic, we have the highest disproportionately most single mother raising kids by themselves.
So you know
We
what's
see a
fucked
lot
up.
more of us.
So, so
Yeah, you
you know
see
what's
it.
fucked up, my brother. Because if you go on dating sites, I've been on many dating sites. A lot of these, there's a lot of single women with too many bastard kids, and they'll ask you, I'll do anything you want, and we'll have children and that together. If you take care of my kids, say, no fucking way, bro, man. Am I gonna take care of
Yeah.
your kids?
So it's this craziness. So we have this moral and ethical and spiritual breakdown, the family breakdown in the African American community, in the Black community in America, that is much more dangerous to us as a people than the so-called racism, the racism aspect of it. We have a much more bigger problem in the family aspect of it than any other problem that we are facing as a people in this country.
Okay, guys, why do you guys think? Why do you think our black women bleach their skin more than black men? Why do you think there's that problem of bleaching skin?
Well, again, that is the craziness of thinking that if you're light skinned and if you're white, you're beautiful. That is the
Okay,
craziness of it.
so we can all agree that on average, a black man will find the lighter skinned women more desirable than the dark one, and these women
Absolutely.
are
Absolutely.
they are responding to the reality.
Yes,
Mhm.
I agree with you. But
So,
why?
so
The
okay,
question is
so
why?
we go back to my point. The black men, I don't know if we have to call it a problem, but it seems like we black people just find lighter skinned people more
Yeah.
desirable, like how
So,
women find
Lo-
tall men. Look, guys, let me make this point. Just like
go
how
ahead.
women find tall
And
men more desirable. Why is
uh-huh.
that so difficult to get to that conclusion?
Yeah. So we'll come back to that, Lozy. Actually, I
yeah,
have some context here.
yeah,
But yeah, hang
lighter
on, sure.
one.
Let's let hang on, Zonke. You don't even stated this right. Let's let Jude have his entrance. Yeah, Jude, are you there? Hopefully, you didn't kill anyone in your nursing duties. What's good, brother?
Uh, Kaiser. I came on the panel. did not even acknowledge you day. What's going on?
Yeah, that's my problem, man. I apologize. You are an OG. You definitely
I,
deserve the
should,
respect.
I shouldn't have waited for like 15 minutes or 20
That's
minutes
true.
to dive in and start
You're right. You're
talking.
right. I apologize. You see, that's it. So yeah, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Um, Look, man. Actually, what is actually happening between black men and marrying Indian women and uh, white women is a whole lot of. It's not just one aspect. It's a whole lot of things. It comes with financial stability. It comes with acknowledgement. Most black people when they get married to a different race they kind to go to different organizations and they are some of them are being respected um, in certain communities, right? Because there are certain organizations that me and you as a black man in most foreign countries we don't actually go to. But when you get married to a white woman or a woman of a different race, there is now an organization that you could actually attend. And another thing in most countries, most people that most Africans that get married to other white women or Indian, they kind of have their children kind of have a little step up. When I talk of a little step up, especially when it comes to jobs, when it comes to a whole lot of getting recognition from peers, they tend to get into schools that are actually of a good standard and a lot of things. Now this is a bigger issue because Africans now um, we are losing it. I wouldn't. I've dated white women. I've dated other races, but I wouldn't advise any black African to actually date out of their race because the disadvantages are of high esteem. Only an African that doesn't think higher will not probably realize what he is doing with what the situation is. Now, these are the disadvantages. You could say, okay, you want to have financial stability, you want to have good, good things for your kids and all of that, good place to stay, stay in a neighborhood that is good. But this is the things that as an African now. You are now giving birth to kids that in futures to come because you don't think about the future in the next future to come. What is gonna happen? Your kid, are they gonna identify as black or are they gonna identify as I mean, you put them in a perplexed situation where they are now gonna be looked upon as not black or not African or this and that. That is a big problem. Now the African population, you reduce the population by coming in with a certain kind of ways that Africans have not been used to it. That's another thing that uh, I might call it disadvantage. Another thing is you value other people's you value other people's lifestyle compared to your own people because you believe that these people have a certain level of education just like me. So I want to mingle and marry in their own setting than we Africans. Another thing is you kind of lost the culture because when I used to have a white girl or something like that. I even went to one of my friend here in where I live at. He is a Nigerian married to a white girl. The guy told me he hasn't eaten jollof rice for almost, I mean, since how many years he hasn't eaten jollof rice. I said, why? He said, because the wife doesn't know how to cook it. Um, Even fufu, he was complaining. So I mean, these are the kind of things that most people that marry to this kind of society, they will never tell you that they don't eat African food anymore. They might come in the open and say they do, but these are the kind of things that you kind of lose taste of everything as time goes by. As they get older and older, they start cutting away from their families and stuff. So it's more in jail than what people think, than what people come in and portray outside. So I wouldn't advise anybody to. It's becoming rampant, and you kind of see that is the more educated Africans that are getting, into all these situations, getting married to, out of their community, and I find it not good at all, Kaiser. I'm not gonna talk too much, but I'm just gonna watch. And then someone was talking about African women bleaching, and this is the thing, right? In America, I haven't seen most. I mean, white black people do bleach a lot, but I haven't seen a black man say, "Oh,
Jude,
I like bleach women
Jude,
in
like,
America."
show the cap. Jude, you know that there's this beautiful woman on TikTok, yeah? Queen, what's her name again, right? The Congolese girl. Uh, Ice cream, so good. Like what's her name? You niggas know her name, right?
Yeah.
This woman is all over TikTok. Let me share a screen, right? She bleached.
Yeah,
I thought she was
yeah,
black
show her,
American.
show her,
She
because
turns out to be.
I haven't seen her. I'm not on TikTok
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
anymore.
share a screen right now.
The thing about Kaiser, the thing about bleaching is because we Africans, we don't have white people to mix with. That's why we bleach. In America, most black women, they have the opportunity to marry white. So that's why you kind of see that the bleaching is not overused in black community. But they get married to white people so they can dilute that black out
So
of
so
them,
so
and change,
so
Mhm.
so
you
Jude,
know.
Yeah,
Jude,
so
that's a long way.
Jude,
That's
this
a long.
is
Ice cream so
Kaizo,
good.
that's a
If you
long
look
way of
guys, slay,
admitting that
huh?
white people are better than black
bleach
people.
Ice
queen.
cream so
I
good.
like that's just a way
Ice
of
cream so good.
admitting what I was
Yes,
saying.
yes, yes.
I said it. I
Mhm.
was saying we do believe that
Yeah,
white
that's a
people are
good point,
better.
Rosie. Yeah.
Jude just took a long way to arrive to that conclusion. But that's exactly what I said. We believe white people are better. It is what it is. You know.
Yeah.
Now let
So
me ask you
so
a
so
question,
this
guys. Right? So Jude,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
One second, Jude. When I was young, I used to date white women. When I was really young, then I dated other people later on. But what I realized is the aging, right? Look, when you look at white women, right, they never smoked, but the moment they turn 35, they look like prunes. So why are black people obsessed with people that won't even be able to maintain? For me, I'm only gonna date East. Right now, I'm only dating East Africans. Right, I'm not even gonna date West Africans. I have my reasons for that. Right, cultural differences. Right.
Kaiser,
but,
Kaiser,
but
a white
yeah,
a
man.
white woman in America at the age of 30, they are dilapidated. They are now they now look more ugly. I mean, to find a good white woman at the age of 18, 19, 20, I mean, all the way to 30, that's when their opium, their high level, their, that beauty is. But after certain ages, they degrade more than African or dark skinned women, because this is it's a whole lot of that's why I wouldn't advise any white any African to get married to a white woman. I mean, I'm not saying
They
you
smell.
shouldn't, but if you want
They
that
smell
financial
bad.
stability, you know.
Uh, uh,
But
Kaizo, Kaizo, do you know Uncle Rakas from Boondocks? He once
No,
went. He once went to do a DNA test, and the DNA results came back, and they said he was 101%, not just black but African. He almost killed himself. So,
Well, guys. Um, um,
so
to me,
it's a problem.
my yeah, to me, my experience is forget even the physical aspect of it. It will save you a lot of headache if you married from your own people, and we hope that our brothers and sisters that are in the West um, consider when it's time for them to get married to consider their own people. It will help you. It will save you a lot of headache. It will. I mean, there is so much benefit. My own experience, as I say again, with my own brothers and sisters, and to see the ones that married within from my culture and the ones that did not, it's day and night.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean,
no,
I feel you guys.
there's
I
another
think
problem.
I think what I'm noticing is there are people from African societies or African countries who are finding it very difficult to adapt into their new society. You know, you know, because you moving from Africa to come to America or UK or elsewhere, you got to realize that you are coming to a whole completely different society. Because
Well,
for
brother,
me,
brother,
hold on,
brother, not to,
let me
brother,
finish. Let
not
me
to cut
finish.
you off, not to cut you off, but let me just interject quickly. From my experience that I'm basing this on, is brothers that have lived in the United States for over 40 years that came to America as a young men, 18, 19, to go to college. This is before even we got our independence in Sierra Leone,
Mhm.
right? And people that live here majority of their life. This is just based my own experience that I have seen between me and my own community based on those. That's what I'm basing this on, not any numbers or real, right?
Okay.
Forget that aspect of it. If you look, if you go back and look, since you live in America, look at the ones that are married outside and the ones that are married inside. See the difference. See the divorce rate level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying because for me, I was raised as a Muslim in Ghana, and then even in Ghana, I mean, the culture itself doesn't allow me to marry from different cultures even within the same country. you know, so ever since I moved
A
from Ghana,
Muslim, as a
no,
Muslim, as a
yeah,
Muslim in Ghana, you guys are not allowed because I'm a Muslim in Sierra Leone. You are
what
in
I
any
mean is
Islamic
that
culture.
I would have asked those a question
what
quick.
I mean is like someone who's not a Muslim from other cultures, because you go to school with them, you know, you interact with
But
their women,
Zongo,
you're gonna
but
find them
Zongo, is that
attractive.
common?
No, I'm just building a point, right? So I mean, me traveling for the first time, coming to a different society, I mean, I can marry from a different pool of women, right? I mean, I like that freedom. I enjoy that. That freedom, and I don't. My culture itself, when it comes to my food, that alone doesn't restrict me from deciding whom I want to mate with. I like trying different cultures. I like, even in Ghana, we speak our own cultural language in our household, and we speak the dominant society language in Ghana too. When I was in
Look,
Turkey, I
look,
learned
look.
Turkish.
Can
So
I just address?
I like to hold on. I like to find myself someone who wants to adapt to a new environment. I don't find the food in America as something that is not of my culture. I like the food. I like burrito. I like American food. I don't have no issues with that. It's not going to be a challenge for me when I interact with someone from a different culture from me. That's not my reality.
But, but my brother, but my brother,
Can I
Zongo,
just can I just say this? Show now. Look, I'm addressing these comments, right? I will give Somalians this from my experience. I've seen Somalians as Africans who tend to intermarry each other more than any group. From my own observation experience, Somalians tend to keep it to themselves and their ways and their culture. And I'll say we can learn a lot from that, from the Somalians. They tend to not really see many other races as that really superior. They tend to keep it to themselves. And I think that's a good thing.
Are you sure? Have you been to
No,
America? Hold on. Have you been to America?
but
Have
I
you
have to get back to
have you
you.
have you been to
No,
America before?
that's like other
That's why
Africans.
I said from my own observations, I tend to be
Wait, hang on,
corrected.
guys, guys.
Can I
Let's let the
speak?
Somali brother respond. Go ahead, Doctor.
But Lozi, it's not just my people. Yeah, we do intermarry out, but it's other tribes in Africa. To be specific, those from West Africa, they don't really marry other African tribes. I'm just being honest. Like also, Zonga, I want to get back to you. You're from Ghana, right? In Ghana
Yeah, yeah.
and in West Africa, it's very common for Muslims and Christians to intermarry because I was speaking to a half Sierra Leonean woman, half Caribbean woman that's from the Midlands in the UK, and she said that she's spiritual because her father was Muslim and her mother's Christian because that's very common in your region. But
hmm
in my region, that's not so common with Muslims and Christians
No,
marrying.
no. Marriage between Muslims and Christians is not very common. I
No, but
think.
it's common in West Africa. It's very common in Sierra Leone.
I
I
mean,
think
in Ghana.
compared to East Africa, that's what Doctor R is saying. Compared to
No,
East
Yeah.
but
Africa.
in East Africa, to be specific, in the Horn of Africa, where I'm from, we don't intermarry with other ethnic groups or even religious lines. We don't. It's just never common. But in West Africa, that's very common.
Yeah. Yes, into marriage.
Yes, yes.
Yes, into
In
marriage. Yeah.
Sierra Leone,
Yeah.
in
So hang on,
Sierra
wait
Leone,
one
it
second,
is
Are you
Doctor R. Let
common.
me
finding?
let me
Are you
just
asking like
wait, hang on.
why is there a reason for that? Are
Wait,
you
hang on,
trying to?
hang on, hang
Yeah,
on. Wait, let
well,
me let,
I'll be very clear. Like in the Horn
Let
of
me ask you.
Africa,
Let me tell you the reason, right? Because in Ghana, for instance, like I said, most of like the Muslims in Ghanaian communities, especially from the community where I come from, the Zongo communities, they're everywhere in Ghana, right? They come from tribe from neighboring African societies, right? So usually when they migrated, they like to establish their own community. They don't want to integrate into the greater society. So they intermarry among themselves. I think the religion kind of like diluted their own culture, and they saw themselves as brothers, so they can while they maintain their own culture and cultural differences, they tend to intermarry themselves under the umbrella of the religion. That's
Because your people are a minority. The Zongo people are from the Hausa, right? If I'm correct or wrong.
not necessarily the Hausa is the unifying language among the Zongo people, but it's
No,
made up
but I
of
say, do they
different.
come from the Hausa people? I said.
I mean, the Zongo originates from the Hausa word, right? But the people
Mhm.
residing in itself is not made of just only Hausa people. It's made of Yoruba people from Niger, the Hausa people from Niger, people from
Mhm.
northern Ghana, people from dominant tribe from Ghana who are Muslims, but mostly they come from tribe from neighboring societies like even Togo, Nigeria, Yoruba people. Yeah, yeah,
No,
Burkina
but
Faso. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Zongo, what I'm trying to say, if you're a minority,
Hmm.
you're most likely to marry out. Let's say me as a Somali. Let's say if I lived in South Carolina, where it's got the type of people I'm going to come across is African American, and I lived by myself in that state, I'm probably more likely to marry or date a woman from that community because.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
But
Yeah,
let's say if my people were, let's say 200,000 of them, I'm more likely to marry a woman from my own ethnicity if there was a community there. You
exactly.
understand where I'm coming from? It's
Yes.
basically minority is majority feast minority that's gonna dominate.
Exactly. And I'm saying the same thing when it comes to, Africans moving to, Western societies. They are not the majority in those societies. So it's, you can't rely on your own group. Sometimes, you need to procreate, you need sex, you're going to marry out. If you don't find, the desirable mate from your own group, you're going to marry out, you know.
Mhm.
And then like, I mean, even when I was in Cyprus, I met Somalis from, mainland Somalia. Even my mentor when I was in Cyprus, he was from Somaliland. I interacted with other Somalis, right?
Oh yeah,
So I
that's
know.
good,
But
man.
when I came here in Washington State, even in Missouri, the Somalis that I met, I'm like, whoa, these are different kind of Somalis. They are Somalis, but they have Black American culture in them, right? Because most of them they resided in.
Oh, those are
Uh,
Black Lives Halimo and Agdi Somali.
like they speak black, they act black, but I saw
Well,
like the distinctions between the Somalis that I met when I was in Cyprus, right? Even when I go outside over here, some of them, they act
No, I
black,
agree. I agree.
they,
No, but it
you know,
depends. It
this,
depends. Like, were they born in America? That's the question. Were they raised in
Yeah,
America?
yeah, they were
probably
raised in
born.
America. They were raised in America,
You
yeah,
see,
born and raised.
example, and it
well,
depends.
let's just say that it depends though in what area, because he's speaking about his experience in Washington,
Yeah,
the fake Washington, the
yeah,
real
Wash.
Washington, the real Washington. In the real Washington is somewhat different. In the
Yeah,
real
yeah,
Washington, we see the Somalian and the Ethiopians tend to marry within each other. They tend
yeah,
to
yeah,
build their own community within each other.
yeah,
They tend to organize within their
So,
own, within their
I
own,
agree.
within their own, within their own. That's my experience here over 30 years in the United
mhm.
States, and we have the biggest Ethiopian and Somalian community. Well, beyond Minnesota,
So
Minnesota has the
hang on.
biggest
So,
Sure. Let me
can I get
sure.
back to
Let
you
me give
quickly?
context. Yeah.
Hey,
One
Kay,
second.
can I get back
Okay,
to
go ahead,
Zongo?
Doctor.
So, you live in Washington D.C., right? Which is majority Ethiopian, since that's the largest Ethiopian population outside of Ethiopia. Like, from what I've heard
Yes.
was with Ethiopians, I could be wrong because I don't really care too much about that community, but since they're Christian, they tend to intermarry with different groups. I could be
Yep.
wrong since you live in that community. I want to know from
Yeah.
your
Now
perspective.
that no that in Washington D.C. not so much, not so much. That
Wait,
that
hang
that
on,
is
hang on. Yeah,
statistically
sure.
incorrect.
Sure. Just before you go ahead and finish your point, let me just add context here. So with the Ethiopian community, first of all, there's no Ethiopian community. There's the Habesha, and then there's the Oromo. Those are the
Yeah.
main group. So the Habesha are
It
the
doesn't
ones who are more
matter. It doesn't matter. Let's stick to Ethiopian. Like, let's so speak of his experience.
Oh, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Because I guess he sees it as Ethiopian. Yeah. So generally speaking, yeah. The most Ethiopians abroad are usually Habesha. They're not Oromo people. So a lot of them are usually Christian. So yeah, fair enough. That's true.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
carry on.
I'll tell you one thing. Even when I came to the U.S. for the first time, right? I come from Ghana, right? But then, even when I went to Illinois State, Chicago, to kind of like uh, just join the Guinean community, I realized there wasn't even a national like a Guinean community. They were like it was divided along the tribal lines, Ashantis, the Fantis, the Gans. I'm like the heck. Where does my tribe belong to? You get what I'm saying? I realized, I realized I didn't have a community that I can join because I don't belong to neither of those tribes, right? Right. So I'm like, the heck? So I'm like, okay, the heck, man. I'm just gonna like,
Ozongo,
I'm just gonna roam.
Well,
I'm
my
just gonna
brother,
roam in the U.S. Wherever likes me, they're gonna,
my, my
associate with
brother,
me.
the reason I time in the reason my time at Ethiopians, I know the differences. I grew up with them here for over 32 years. Some of my best friends are Ethiopians. The reason I time it that way is because I don't look at the tribal lines of it. You know, I don't look at it that way. And I truly believe, after being part of this community for over 32 years, I truly believe they are the reason Ethiopia is in the position that is in today, with the biggest war that happened in the last what in the last several years. How many hundred thousands of people died in Ethiopia
Yeah.
within internal fighting each other based on this tribal thing. So I think the diaspora here is a big factor in that, for the stability in that area. The
Yeah,
Ethiopian diaspora in America.
but
but
Doctor
that's
Kaiser,
common. But that's common in all African communities. Let's be honest, yeah. I'm tribal. Everyone else in this room may not admit it. We're tribal, a bit tribal. Like in
yeah,
my community, there's a lot of tribalism. Like for example, let me ask you, yeah, why is it always the dominant tribes in Africa who go in the diaspora are from a particular tribe? I'll give you an example. In America, the dominant Nigerian tribe are going to be obviously those from the Igbo and Yoruba tribe. In UK, for example, in Zimbabwe, it's going to be those from the Shona tribe. My people,
why not from the Hausa tribe in Nigeria?
yeah,
Because
because I'll give an example. Those tribes in northern Nigeria, they don't like going to Western countries and they tend to be poor.
no, I think because they've been Islamized and they tend to associate themselves more with the Arabic world over the Western world. That's why the
But
traveling.
isn't that weird? Because
Well, well,
I've met
well, that is not so, because you have more Muslims that wants to come to America than going to Saudi Arabia or going
Oh,
to anywhere.
no, I come from the I'm born and raised from the Hausa group, right? Even though I was raised in Ghana, but mentality has changed. When I met even the Hausa people from Nigeria, I realized, you know, we don't we don't think alike, because
Mhm.
I've been probably I like to go abroad, because I don't come from a place of power. I'm a minority in Ghana, and the Hausa people, they tend to enjoy they're the ones in politics holding political positions, so they tend to be lazy. They don't want to travel and
But,
hustle
but,
here too.
how come Zongo? How come
but
yeah?
my brother,
Your tribe is 80 million people. Hulsa are like 80 million people. How come you don't see like a massive diaspora across the globe? Like how come? I know
Islam,
some.
Islam.
No, but my people are both 99% Muslim. Like, is
Yeah,
it
but I
because
mean, I think, don't you think it's the war that kind of like made Somalians to travel outside?
no, because my people did travel in the past. Like we have history of interacting with different foreign nations. If you go
No,
back to our,
but I'm talking about UK and America, because Somalians have a huge presence compared to other groups. Don't you think
yeah,
like
yeah,
American
but one
government gave them a leeway to come to America, like during because of the conflict that
but
occurred?
there was, but before the conflict, there was already a Somali diaspora, but it wasn't so big.
Yeah, but in America they have a much stronger. I think the Hausa people, they because they are too much Quranic, they don't want to uh have like Western education,
No, but I'm
um
thinking, why is that the case with them, but it's not the case with my people, like or other Muslim groups? Like I understand if you want to learn the Quran, yeah, but
yeah, but you the one who, because my mentor, he was disappointed in me that I came to the US to pursue my education and look for better opportunities, it's from Somaliland. It's like, damn man, you
And
went to join with the kuffar? That's what he said to me. I'm like, what? Man, I'm, I'm like, no freaking man. I don't want to stay in no freaking Turkey. I mean, I don't share the same ideology. I mean, I was a Muslim, but
yeah,
I'm
but
like,
Zumba, one thing I don't like about Muslims, right? Zoe would agree with me, right? Yeah, I was born and bred in the UK, and I've lived here my whole life here, and I'm 32 years old. Yeah, one thing I'm gonna say is, what do you think of those Muslims who come to places like UK, France, and Canada, and they want basically things like their country to be like, conservative and religious and that whatnot, yeah. But they're not living a religious conservative lifestyle. Basically, they're making decisions for their countries abroad, but people in their country tend to be conservative or liberal, where they come from religionally originally, but they want to impose their BS onto them. And why did you move from your country of origin to this country if you don't like alcohol, you don't like this and that, but you're enjoying the benefits of that country in terms of welfare? They'll help you get a job, education,
yeah,
because I've seen that a lot in the UK.
yeah, yeah. Because I
well,
mean,
my brother,
There are
the
a bunch of
mentor,
my
hypocrites.
brother.
I mean, as a Muslim, I'll tell you right now, Muslims that are born in this country or that were raised here who've got that mentality are a bunch of hypocrites. I don't care. I'll say this again.
Yes,
They're a bunch of hypocrites.
100%, 100%, 100%. You are
Even my own
absolutely
people,
right in
even my
that,
own
my
people
brother.
jumping. I've even mentioned it on Somali forums like this, and I got banned because I'm speaking the truth. They're a bunch of hypocrites.
and
Why
then
complain about a country? No, but
another
why
thing.
complain? Why complain? I'll tell you a story quickly. I met this brother, this Somali brother in London. He's a successful film. He's in the film industry, and he made a film that's well known. But I don't want to mention the film. He was basically raised in Kuwait, and his father worked in Kuwait, and his father basically never was given citizenship of that country.
Hmm.
And when the war happened, he told me about a war happening in when Iraq invaded Kuwait, I believe in the 90s. The Iraqi forces they destroyed a hotel, not hotel, an apartment block, and his father basically picked up the rubble of those people to remove the bodies and that. He told me, and he just told me fucked up stories and that, and he's now a successful film producer in the film industry. And I asked myself, what if he stayed in Kuwait? Would he have been a successful film producer earning this
No,
much money? Or because
no
his
way.
father, because I met many people that come from countries like that. Imagine you lived in a country your whole
Well,
life and they don't give you passport. They don't give you even welfare. You've been a
Yeah,
service to that country. So any Muslim that's listening to this that's religious, they need to shut the fuck up and smell the reality. If you
yeah,
were to give me a Saudi passport or a country, let's say in South Africa, I will not even take it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
well,
You're
well,
right.
Because
my brother,
I'm
my
speaking the
brother,
truth. Okay.
I will add this. I completely agree with you. The hypocrites, and this is not just Muslims. We see this in different groups, and so the Muslims themselves, look at them. The Arab world is part of is they help suffocate Gaza. They are as much as responsible for the death toll in Gaza against the
Exactly.
Palestinian people as the Israelis. So they're a whole bunch of, they're all hypocrites. They're whole hypocrites. And if you go to the scriptures, the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, whenever you go to any country, you respect the rule and the law and the leadership of that country.
But brother, that's not the case. Like I'm from the UK, right?
But
Yeah.
of course,
In
because
the
it's all
United
bullshit.
there's so much
Because
fuckery in the Muslim in the community. There's so much corruption. For example, you've got Muslims, for example, that are committing welfare fraud. You've got Muslims committing all sorts of things. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even here in America too.
but not only
And
but
Yeah,
you
not
even
know,
only
here,
that, my brother.
even here in
Let me
America
add
too.
this. Let me just add this. If you look at if you even go into it, that's why I can understand some of the things that conservative Americans would say. Hold on a second. Now, this let's say a refugee from Iraq or Afghanistan, they will leave all the Middle East countries, the Saudi Arabia, all the Gulf states, very, very rich. Gulf states. But these people should be the responsibility of Western societies. Why? Why not the Gulf states? Right? Not that they're broke or poor. These people have money. They have money. Where is their responsibilities? Jordan, a poor state. Lebanon, a poor state, take more refugee than Saudi Arabia, than Kuwait, than the United Arab Emirates, and all the rich ones. So they're all a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah, I mean, but Dr. R, I mean, the case of about the house of people, I think it has to do with the Islam. They don't believe in material wealth. They don't want to die and go to Jannah. you know, they're
No, but I
all
respect them. No, but no, no, Zongo, I respect
Eh,
them. If you want to stay in that
yeah,
country,
yeah,
I respect them. But one
yeah.
thing
But
I'm going
but
to
but
say,
but the
but
thing
Zongo,
is,
Zongo,
because hold on, let me finish this point. But the problem is when I met them in Cyprus and they started to travel, and they tend to be corrupted. Like the ideologies tend to be corrupted. Their ways of living tend to be, corrupted. They started to enjoy like the yearn or desire for more material wealth and even I've met a couple of people ever since I came to the US. Like, oh man, how can I come over here? I like to come, stuff like that. I think now the new generations, they kind of change a little bit. They like they've changed. I think over time they might tend to flock in here. Even when I came to the US, I was shocked to see a lot of Yoruba and and other groups, and I don't find a house of people from them. I'm like, what? And you guys are the majority. You don't even benefit from that. Even in Ghana, the majority ethnic group in Ghana are the ones that are dominant in most in the diaspora. It's just simple because they
but
have
what,
easy access to the government. They are mostly close to the shores. The capital. They have access to power. They get to travel. They have access to everything. You know.
And they get to create chaos in their land. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
they come and
And
get all this they
and
come and get all this opportunity. They come and get all this opportunity and all these rights and deny the people in their own land that same rights and responsibilities and opportunities that they have gathered in the Western society.
yeah. And
You
that's why
see,
like
it's contradictory.
yeah, and that's why I like when some of you is, oh, you gotta like go and marry someone. I'm like, what? I mean, Ghana, what?
No,
Like, are you
no,
serious?
no, no, no.
I'm a minority. I'm
But
minority even in Ghana or here. I don't give a damn about that. Because in Ghana,
the,
like in
but the
Ghana,
culture part about the culture part about the marriage kingdom, my brother, the the headache and the things that it will save you. It's not just about food. It's not just that. It's sometimes it's just knowing your ways that a different group sets of people will not know. The way you will act or react. There's that culture tension
yeah,
that
I agree
other
with what you.
people will not understand.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. But for me, I have this whole concept that hey, man, if I never had nothing and you were with me through thick and thin, I don't give a damn where you come from. If you were with me
This
through
is
thick and
true.
thin, man, I'm with you, regardless where you come from,
That's true.
right? You know.
That's true.
I'm not gonna go to Ghana because when I
Character
go to
matters.
Ghana, when I go to Ghana to find someone from my own group to marry, I like, oh, I'm from the U.S. Okay, money. He has money. Maybe if you marry him, you can get to bring your brother. So the poverty mindset is not gonna even make your own marriage to thrive in African society too. That's the angle that you're not even looking at too.
Zongo,
Well,
the women in America, they're good looking, but they only can be used for sexual purposes. They're not really wife material. Women in the UK, America, Canada, in France, in New Zealand, they're not really wife material.
I agree with what you're saying. I completely agree with that too. You're absolutely right.
You know, I've seen the other day. I wanted to ask you this year. I seen a video the other day in a video of Florida, and they showed this. I forgot the name of the city in Florida, but women. They showed the nighttime of Florida. The women were just walking around half naked. And I said, "Am I? Is this Sodom and Gomorrah?" I'm thinking, what? Women at nighttime walking half naked, completely.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, America is not that easy. The way you kind of make it, it's that easy for a woman to get you in jail. You know, it's that easy. You know, if I'm gonna be honest with you, you know, it's that easy. You know, she can call the cops on you, and it's over. Like if she accuse you of something, it's not like the way you see it in the movies or the videos. Like, yeah, even
But
I've been in a situation whereby I met a lady. You know, we went outside. You know, she was kind of drunk, and she woke up in the morning. She was like, "Damn, like, oh, what did I do?" I'm like, "What?" You know, but the good thing is like we never did anything because I mean, if you never consented, that I'm not gonna do nothing because
like
at the end of the day, I don't wanna, you know, put myself in a precarious situation.
it's not even that. It's not even that now. Yeah, men now are not really interacting with. In my workplace, someone must ask. They asked, yeah, how often do you interact with women? And that, like, I said to this person, yeah, I have no interest in
Can I ask you a
interacting.
question? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is the Somali guy that was at the Somali guy that was saying inbreeding amongst the Somalis is a good thing? Is he still there?
Who, me? Are you
Are
talking
you
to me?
are you the Somali guy?
Yeah, I'm Somali. I didn't say
Well,
that.
well, yeah, you were saying the Somalis don't vary too much from their own community, and you were painting that as a good thing.
I didn't say that.
How do you expand the gene pool?
I didn't say that. That was someone else. I don't know who you're mistaking me for.
Well,
He
maybe
said like,
somebody.
oh, was it like the Ethiopian guy who said that? Like, maybe like the
Well, was
Ethiopian.
it whoever said that? I wanted to
What?
come in at that point.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well,
Let me ask you. What's your name? Where you from?
what sort of insular society, inbreeding, whatever it is, what's
We
going on
don't.
in that
We,
one?
but we don't.
Those
Yeah, the Somali.
Somalian, Ethiopians, and Eritreans, what's going on amongst them? What's all this?
Can I explain? Can I say something? Can I speak? First of all, you said inbreeding. Like you are my people Pakistanis or something. We don't marry our cousins. And we don't inbreed.
What you mean? You do that sometimes.
Well, you
Huh?
ultimately do.
Some some
If you
Muslims do that.
if you don't vary outside of your community, it says what's it
You
70
mean you mean
generation?
ethnicity? Like we don't marry our cousins and we don't inbreed.
No, well,
Um,
you
No,
do.
you
You
do. You
do.
do sometimes. You know, I
You
met
do
like
most times.
Somalis over
That's
here
your culture,
doing
isn't
that.
it?
oh wait, you don't even know who I am. You don't know my culture. I'm
Well,
telling you.
you're from that coast. Yeah,
We don't. No,
Eritrean,
but
Ethiopian, Somali, all those sort
well, I
of
can't speak for
yeah.
her. Well, I'm not an Ethiopian, and I'm telling you, my culture, my ethnicity, we don't practice inbreeding, and we don't marry our cousins. The Arabs and Pakistanis, Indians, they do those sort of things. So I don't know where you're getting this idea from.
Even the Hausa people do it. I mean,
No,
I'm
but I
I'm,
don't know. I can't speak for any other group, but we
I'm
don't
a
inbreed.
product of that kind of marriage, though. I'm a product of that too.
Yeah, but you know, it's not actually, yeah, it's not genetically or physiologically healthy to live that sort of as insular sort of
Many
in-
ethnicities
inbreeding,
are
isn't it?
insular
But but
that marry their own.
but
For
but but
example,
but,
endogamy.
but, but,
For example, House S show.
yes.
Dude, let me ask you this question. Since your people, the Fulanis, are nomadic people,
Right.
do they practice
Right.
endogamy, like marrying from their own tribe, or they marry other tribes that are Muslim or their own people?
Yes, we do. And we're married within the family. Not so much like a direct cousin, but
No, no, I'm
long
not talking
distance
about. No, no,
cousin.
no, no, no. I'm not talking about cousins. I'm talking about ethnicity, tribal wise.
If we're married outside,
No, I'm saying to do Hausa people marry people from their own ethnicity, their tribe, most of the time, or do they marry out?
No,
What's
they
the
well,
marry
difference?
the
their own tribe.
The
The Hausa people
Fulanis
marry. You
married.
know,
The, the Fulanis, for majority of it, married within their own tribe, based on my own experience between Sierra Leone and Guinea.
That's like that with many other ethnicities that
yeah,
marry.
but
For example, no, but what I'm trying to say is I don't know what this guy's tribe or where he's from is, but that's common with many ethnicities that marry within their ethnic
I'm a
group.
Yoruba
yeah,
man from Oyo laughing.
So you're Yoruba, right? Yeah. Do most Yoruba people marry within their own tribe?
Well, I wouldn't say majorly. I think the Yorubas they have the expansiveness to to marry anybody. The Yorubas are notorious philanderers, so they spread wide, which is how it should be.
We're spread it wide as
You
well.
can't be marrying your cousins. What are you? You are not the what's all this marrying your cousins and you're coming here to paint it like a good thing.
I don't. Where have I said that? Where have I
Well,
said that out of my
well,
mouth?
Yeah, but he said he's not saying that. So like, okay, but maybe
I
you
don't
are
even
referring
know
Yeah,
to
what
well,
like,
no,
what
you
is
can,
that. Wait,
yeah, but don't do
but
that
but
if you're doing it. Don't do it.
yeah, but the thing is,
do
like,
what?
the thing is, if people did it, it was a cultural practice. But now that new knowledge has been, exposed, people just, change their ways. Like I said, I'm from the Hausa group, and my family did that. And I think most Hausa people who are follow the Islamic religion,
No,
I
but
wouldn't say I
but
wouldn't say
Zongo,
everybody. Some people kind of follow that if they really want to follow like the Sunnah strictly, right? Some people might cite in a hadith that was practiced, and people do that,
no, but
but
listen,
let me just interject this. But this is a culture thing that's been practiced in the African culture for thousands upon years. We have practiced this until modern day. So
Yeah,
who's running away from who?
yeah. But
I mean, in
but
every African
but
society,
even the Hausa
it's been
people,
practiced. So I don't see what's wrong with it. I don't see why we are making it now like whatever science have come up with now. This has been part of our DNA as Africans for thousands upon years in every African society
yeah,
in
yeah.
the continent
The
of
point,
Africa.
the
And
point I'm trying to make is the point I'm trying to make is this Yoruba man from his country. I don't know if he's from Benin or Nigeria or whatever. Yeah, this guy because he live with Hausa people, he automatically thinks that my people are the same as the Hausa. Do you know how many Muslim groups are there in Africa? You got the Mendi. You've got basically many different tribes that are Muslim. You've got the Goraim people from Chad. I don't know why this guy automatically assumes all Muslims do it.
yeah, but
That's the
even
problem he's
No,
assuming.
no, no, no. So hold
but
on, hold
but
No,
on.
because
hold on, hold on.
but the reason why I say this because I've got issues with people that are from the Igbo tribe because I live in UK. My experiences with that community is not so great because the Igbos in Nigeria have got a problem with the Fulanis because they think of me as a Somali. I am their enemy, the same as the Fulani man. I'm telling you, but I don't like that tribe, and I'm thinking this guy is
Yeah,
assuming the
but
same. So do not assume.
yeah, but even like
Hold on. You are
even in
making
Nigeria, hold on, let me say something.
okay.
Even in
All right.
Nigeria, like I don't know, maybe the Euro people they tend to confuse. Maybe they tend to like use the term Hausa Fulani, but these are completely different
Why
ethnic.
don't you let a Yoruba person speak for the Yorubas? You are not Yoruba, so I mean, and I have the capacity to speak. So
Yeah, I'm not even speaking about the Euro people. I'm
yes,
talking
you want to project some sort of latent prejudice you have against or stereotype. So you don't have to stereotype when you have me here.
yeah,
I,
I'm talking about Hausa and Fulani. I'm not speaking about the Yoruba
no,
people.
you said the Yorubas tend to want to lump the Hausas and the Fulanis together and call them whatever it is that you were just about to
I
say.
mean, I'm saying like some people from the other groups they don't tend to understand. They think like they are all one people. Like
No,
Dr.
nobody thinks that. No, nobody thinks
Like
that.
Dr. R was saying that the people from the Igbo people that he encountered with think the Fulani people are like that, right? And I'm saying like the Fulani and the Hausa group they are two distinct ethnic groups,
No,
with
no,
different language.
we all know that. But I'm more concerned about this inbreeding going on in Ethiopia, Somalia, and Eritrea. You need to stop that. This is
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
hang on, man.
he has a fight with Dr. R.
Right. Yeah, I was
But
gonna make a
but one
correction, right?
So I want to get to this. I want to get to this guy over here. Like your tribe, yeah. Do they intermarry with different tribes?
they intermarry not only with different tribes, different races rather, and even sometimes we even transcend the human race and marry beyond.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Would you let your daughter? Would you let your daughter marry an Arab man?
I would not.
Why not, man? Because
why
you said
not?
your tribe.
For reasons because they are uncivilized.
The Arab man is uncivilized in what
Yes,
ways?
What way exactly, man?
in all ways.
Like example.
Let me ask you, are you Muslim? What's your
They've not emancipated in terms of gender relationships. They have poor hygiene. They're fanatical doctrinally. They just are backward in terms of worldview.
I thought
You
you
know,
said like the Europe who want
and
to expand their
by
influence.
virtue of religion and culture, they subordinate women, which is not something that sits with
But
you know.
well, my friend, one man, I I I have a problem with the Arabs for a different reason, based on the way they treat our people, black people. Um, hence, I will agree that they're uncivilized. Um, but I don't think religion has any part to do with that. The way they subject women
Everything in their
has
culture
nothing
is
to do with
underpinned by
religion.
what do you mean? Everything in their
Hey,
culture is underpinned by religion.
hey Kaizo,
Well,
see,
they,
hold on,
they,
guys.
they paint it.
Let me tell Kaiser
They,
one story, right? So when I was in Cyprus, I met this, beautiful Kenyan girl. She was from Mombasa, probably one of the mixed
Uh-oh.
ones.
Yeah.
She met, I think this Egyptian. I was in an African association, one of my, Egyptian guy. He showed interest in the, Mombasa lady. He liked her, man. He told his parent that he wanted to get married to her. Even his mom didn't want to. He wanted him to marry her. Like, oh, why would he marry outside of the race? She didn't like it. He had to convince her. And then when he told the lady, eventually, the lady from Mombasa had to ask her dad if he would agree to that. He was like, no freaking way. No way. No way. Am I gonna give my daughter from Mombasa to an Arabic guy? No freaking way. That's not happening. I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
why?
so Zongo, let me give the context. So in Kenya, the Arab women the Arab community in Kenya got Africanized. So they actually feel that they're Kenyan. So generally speaking, like for example, Swahili girls, man, some of them look good. I'm not gonna lie, but generally speaking, they got Africanized. So they're not really into the whole Arab culture. They don't even speak Arabic for the most part. They just speak Kiswahili. In fact,
yeah,
Kiswahili is their
uh,
language. That's
You
why
you
they're called Swahili.
you you're right.
yeah.
That's the language they spoke when I met them. But for some reason, he didn't wanted her daughter to get married to someone from Egypt and then stay in Egypt. No, he just didn't like it. He kind of felt like those Arabic men might probably mistreat his daughter for some reason. I don't know. Maybe use her as slave. It just didn't sit well with him.
Hmm.
The man never
Yeah.
agreed to that.
Hmm.
Because yeah, that's what really happened. I'm like, wow. So a lot of people
So
kind of like feel they have this feeling towards this Arabic people.
here we get to the point. Like Mr. Yoruba man, basically he's pro. What's it called? Mixed. What's it called? Tribes. He's
Right.
for it.
Hmm. Yeah, one
Is he,
man.
is he
No,
still
no,
here?
I am for mixed tribes, so long as the male is a Yoruba. I'm not for I'm
So,
not for the mixing of female Yoruba.
so,
I'm not for
so,
the mixing of I'm not for the mixing of female Yoruba women with any other tribe.
You want to dominate other females from other tribe, but not
so,
yours.
so that's basically. So you're not letting your daughters marry non-Yoruba men.
But you want to marry other people's daughters.
I
That's
like that
interesting.
role. I like that role. I like that role. That's a funny role.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Dr. R. Yeah,
but he
who
Yeah.
do
can.
you want to marry?
I mean, he can say that. But when we travel, we see Yoruba women. They like white daddies. We see them over here in the U.S. Everywhere. They like something. They like something exotic. That's understandable.
Zonga, I think Yoruba women in UK will date out their ethnicity out of any man,
Of
since they're
course. I mean,
liberal,
yeah.
and they wouldn't mind marrying a Hausa Fulani guy.
Funnily enough, Yoruba women actually marry Hausa Fulani men, but it's very rare that you will see a Yoruba woman married to like a Caucasian or or never an Arab ever really. Maybe
My brother, are you sure about that? Because
They
Lagos,
will if they had a chance. They will.
about that. I am Yoruba.
They would do that in a heartbeat,
Would they do what in a heartbeat?
marrying, you know, the white daddy in a heartbeat. You
Why,
know,
why would
and
they
then
do that?
come on, it's
No, no,
man. I've come in
no,
contact
no.
with
The culture, the culture recoils against it. It's not, it's not. It doesn't sit with the culture. It's not what we do.
Let's be honest. Like in southern Nigeria, a woman is most likely probably to marry outside of her tribe than a northern Nigerian woman.
absolutely.
Well, that is true. That is
No,
true.
but let me ask you in general here. Why is it that
But
coastal?
if you are
No,
saying that
let's
Nigeria,
what?
then
No, no, no.
then
It's
you are
not just
taking.
Nigeria. No, what I'm saying to you is in West Africa, the coastal areas of the coastal countries, from from Nigeria up to like what Sierra Leone, the coastal regions in the south, those tribes will tend to marry foreigners. But if you go to the northern parts of those countries in West Africa, the Muslim part and the Sahel, they will tend to marry from their own tribe.
Yeah, because a
Mhm.
lot of time they are isolated from the outside world. So I mean, generally they tend to marry within their own groups than the ones in the coastal areas, because
It's
the
not just the
coastal
coastal areas, it's the same in Central Africa. If you go to places like Angola, Gabon, what's it called, Guinea, and in Central Africa or Kenya, certain areas, you could
yeah.
easily marry those women if you're from a particular tribe or outside of Africa.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think, yeah, a lot of, like I said, coming from Ghana, it was that hard for me just to marry someone from a different culture. It's not going to happen. Can you imagine my younger sister saying she's going to marry us, someone who is not a Muslim or something like that? It's going to be hard. My parents not going to
Yeah, but Zongo, my
allow her.
sister married a Ghanaian, right? Because in the UK there are just no Kenyans, man. So
Yes,
she
yes,
went
there
all the
are.
way out. Oh, are they?
Exactly, right?
Okay.
So, and that's why, like, for me,
That's
when it comes
okay.
to this cultural practices and norms that we kind of abide to or follow, it has a lot to do with geographical location. If you find yourself in a location whereby it's gonna be hard to find your own group, you tend to marry outside. Because as a man,
Zong,
you need
Zongo,
sex, you want to procreate. You want
Zongo,
to
if
have.
you live in an isolated area, what I mentioned earlier, if I lived in South Carolina and that, yeah, and there's no people from your tribal community, then you can marry out. But what I'm trying to say, if you live in a dominant community where your people at, don't you want your people to preserve themselves, as Mr. Yoruba man wants his people to be preserved?
Yeah, yeah, of course. You want to preserve. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree.
So if we mix up the tribes, if we mix every single tribe I can think of in Africa, we're finished as a people.
Yeah, but for me, I tend to think a little different because I'm not in the place of authority when it comes, like I've been a minority for a long time. Like I'm not
I
gonna,
understand, brother, where you're coming
I'm not
from, yeah,
I'm not
but
gonna like let my tribe restrict me from no accessing the economic ladder. I'm like, if I'm finding opportunity over here, I'm taking that chance real quick. I'm not even. I'm not gonna double down. Like, oh yeah, I want to stick to my. If I wanted to stick to my own group, I probably wouldn't be coming to the U.S. I'll probably
Mhm.
stay, just marry someone from Ghana. I knew,
Okay.
I knew the challenges uh, that I could face coming to a different, society that is not, that is completely un-Islamic and come from I would meet my people from my own group. I knew the challenge. I was aware of that, and I took the risk. So, okay,
Okay.
I'll just take it. I'll just take it.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, well, one man, I have a question for you. So obviously you would not let your niece or female related offspring marry an Arab man. Would you let them marry a Kenyan?
I would, but I don't see how that would happen. Because why would they? I mean, you know, why would they?
That's funny. That's funny. But
I don't actually object to. I don't object. So I'm only trolling, by the way, a little bit. But apart from the Arab comment, I wouldn't let anybody marry an Arab. It's just like they're just too uncivilized. But no,
What about a Kenyan Arab? Because Kenyan Arabs are Africanized. They actually are more
no,
Bantu
no,
than they are
no.
Arab.
I wouldn't object to anybody marrying a Kenyan, but I cannot
What about
see
a Muslim? A Muslim man?
a Muslim man.
Yes.
It wouldn't be my
Yes.
first choice, but then of course I'm not the one getting married
Yeah.
to him. You
So
know,
one man, for
Yeah,
example,
but Doctor,
my in-laws.
let me make a
Yeah.
statement, Doctor R. Before I'm sorry, you the host, right? But the Yoruba people, as I know, they are not mostly, they are mostly Christians and Muslims.
Yes, I
Majority of
know.
them are Muslim, majority of them are Christians. So and for
Yeah, but
them,
Congos, but the
from my
Yoruba.
interaction, with them, I think the way they kind of like, if they want to amass power in Nigeria, the way they operate is going to help them. For them, the tribe comes ahead of any religious affiliation that either side might have. And
Mhm.
that's why they have the Oduduwa uh, uh, organization that they have. They're trying to connect Yoruba people from Nigeria and in diaspora, regardless of where they find themselves, right or wrong.
Right.
you see,
Okay.
I have a visceral objection to Arabs and Muslims. It's just yes, I just it's just
Woman, do you
Okay.
support the Oduduwa Republic?
what's that?
Support like Nigeria being separate, like the Yorubas their way, the Hausa way their way. You seem like one of those people say, yes, we need to have our own land. Get rid of the
Oh yeah.
people who are not us.
No, everybody wants their own land, including you, I'm sure. But
Yes, of course, of course.
But
But what do you
woman,
think of one man?
woman,
I want to ask you, one man. I want to ask one man a question quick. One man, what do you think of like Yoruba Muslims having an affinity to Hausa and Fulani Muslims that look at them as less,
Uh-oh.
that look
Uh-oh.
at them as useless idiots?
yeah, no,
Uh-oh.
that's the problem, isn't it? Because the Northerners don't actually consider the Southerners real Muslims,
The
and
reason why I asked you, sorry to ask it, the reason why I asked that question because me as a Somali Muslim, I think the same way with Ethiopian Muslims.
yeah, I know there's a hierarchy, isn't there? It's like
Because with
it's like
Ethiopian, I'll be specific with the Muslims that the Ethiopian Muslims, I'm referring to the ones that are Amharic and Tigray, who are predominantly Christian, but they got a Muslim population. I look at them as the enemy because they're gonna side with their own people. I'm gonna look at them as less because my people have been at war with that tribe for 600 years.
Mhm.
I don't like that tribe, nor do I trust them, including the ones that are Muslim. The
So I
ones
guess
that
what he's asking
the
one man is,
ones that are Muslims, the ones that are Muslims from that tribe, I look at them as useless idiots.
yeah. So one man, he's asking basically, can you trust the Yorubas who align with the Fulani Hausa Muslims because they're not gonna be on the whole Yoruba spirituality?
Because
What's your
because they
thoughts on that?
because they're useless idiots. How the Turkish Muslims look at the European white Muslims as useless idiots because they were conquered by them. If
Interesting.
you look into history,
Yeah, but I have a commentary there for Dr. R and also one man and the rest of the panel. So for my in-laws, they are Muslims, but they've accepted the fact that I'm not a Muslim, right? Initially, I tried to wear kanzu and all that shit, but they saw through, right? So they know I'm not a Muslim and they're okay with it. But I think the main reason why is a tribal affiliation. I'm still, part of their tribe. So I think that's why they just sort of let it go. Because,
okay, can you let one man speak? I want to hear his
yeah,
opinion
go
on what
ahead.
I said.
Yeah, go ahead, one man.
all right. Sorry, what was the question?
What I just said now about what I just told you basically how certain Muslim ethnic groups are seen as useless idiots. I've brought up your ethnicity, the Yoruba Muslims, who are
Yes.
seen as less by the northern Hausa Muslims. They seen them as useless idiots. Me as a Somali Muslim, I look at Ethiopian Muslims as useless idiots. I don't consider them to be my brothers and sisters, especially those from the two tribes I mentioned, the Tigray and Amharic tribe, since they're majority Christian and we've been at war with that tribe for like what 600 years now. And I consider them those that are Muslim. I don't consider them my brothers, but I do consider them as useless idiots.
Well, yes. It's a manor house narrative, isn't it? Really, so in those plantation days, the lighter your skin
why are you connecting that to plantation?
no, that's really what's going on. It's a manor house narrative. In those plantation days, the lighter your skin is, the closer you are to the manor house. And that is really the narrative of Islam as well. So the closer they are to the center of the religion, the more puritanical, the more authentic, the more piety they feel they have. And the more distant you are, both in geography and in contact, the lesser you are. So, of course, the Turkish are closer to that Arabian experience. They had contact with Islam more. They look more like them, and all of that. The Ethiopians, they had Eritreans, etc., etc. They had all of that contact. The Hausa, especially the Fulanis, they've had a longer history with Islam, and physiologically they look more aligned with where that religion comes from. So it's a manor house narrative. The lighter your skin is in the plantation, the closer you are to the manor house. But to the Yoruba Muslims, yes, they are somewhat useless because they are not really Muslims. They are enemies really, and they're very fetishistic, but they just clout it or with an Islamic cover. So they just it's almost like play acting really. That's how I see. It's almost anatomic to be Yoruba and Muslim. It's a contradiction in terms. You know, you cannot be Yoruba and Muslim. I'm not quite sure which of the deities of Yoruba land Islam came from. So it's a foreign, you know. So it's just reacting.
One Yoruba land conquered by the Fulani, like Ilorin was conquered by the Fulani. Is that how Islam came about?
I'm not quite sure that. I think there was contact anyway through trade. It wasn't really through the conquest of Ilorin. So yeah, there was because Oyo, which is the progenitor of the Yoruba race, the origin source of the Yoruba race is Oyo, which is where I come from, by the way. So that's the origin source of the Yorubas, and they've had contact with Islam through trade, going back decades. And by the
Well,
way, so yeah, go on.
as a Fulani and a Muslim, because I don't think that can be contradictory. You can be a Fula and a Muslim. And if we want to go back about this Muslim subject, actually, Islam, the inception of Islam, the beginning of Islam, the first place where Islam was practiced freely was in Africa, Ethiopia, not in Saudi Arabia, not in Mecca, not in Medina, not in Jerusalem, not in Iraq, not in anywhere in the Middle East, but in Ethiopia. That is
Really?
the first hijrah. That's supposed to be the first hijrah of Al-Islam. So our people have been Muslim from the inception of Al-Islam. And this is not just
It's the
Islam,
Middle
it's
Eastern.
both.
It's a Middle Eastern religion. Let's not equivocate. It's a Middle
Yeah.
No,
Eastern.
no, 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 no,
It's
no.
an Arabian
Imagine
religion.
the message came from an Arabian, but the practice, the beginning of it, started in Africa, and it's not just Islam; it's Christianity, it's Judaism.
Yeah. They
The
are
whole
more.
story of Moses,
Yeah.
the
They
whole
are more.
story of Moses is in Africa. You go back to
Yeah.
the scriptures; it's all in Africa. Majority of the stories.
Yeah.
So
You're
we are
right.
not new to this. So we
Yeah.
are not new to this.
Yeah.
But
The
sure,
hardest.
I'm a bit
Hold on.
surprised that
Let
one
me
man.
look out.
Oh,
Look out. Let me
uh,
say something first. In response to your question, I think a lot of the problems that people from Muslim majority tend to have with certain minority groups, it's kind of silly to have like that kind of mentality. For me, coming from a minority, uh, as a Muslim from a minority country, I don't tend to think that way. You know, like I said, like the community where I come from, we are a mixture of different tribes. I've always the Hausa person in Ghana sees the Yoruba person as someone who's his brother in the same religion. We never view ourselves as different. The first time that I started to see the animosity from the Hausa person to a Yoruba man was when I traveled and meet actually the Nigerians. I'm like, whoa, I've never even seen that before. For me, that was really shocking to me. We never consider someone from a different tribe as not a real Muslim, and I'm the real Muslim. It's something that really comes from someone who really enjoys the benefit from a Muslim majority society.
But
You
Zonda,
in Nigeria, a Hausa Fulani man would never worship in a mosque that is being led by Yoruba. They could never let a Yoruba person lead them in prayer ever. I've never known that to
And
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
a lie.
wrong.
That if you're not a Muslim,
That's
that's a
wrong.
lie.
no,
That's a
but
lie.
That's wrong.
no, but
That's wrong. That's not Muslim. That's not Al Islam.
No, no, but
Because the best person,
he's not
the
telling the
best,
truth. It's
the
a
best,
lie.
yeah,
It's a
but
lie.
the
He's
best
telling a
person,
it's
lie.
a lie.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? If you don't know, say you don't know. Don't say it's a lie
yeah,
now. This ask
yeah.
anybody. Go
Are you
find
a
out.
Muslim? Are you a Muslim yourself?
I'm a Nigerian. I'm a Yoruba
Okay.
man. I come
So
from
yeah, yeah, it doesn't
that's
really
what
matter.
I'm talking
So
about.
you can come from Nigeria, but I'm a Hausa guy, and I understand maybe the dynamics of a Hausa society better than you do. Although you can be from Nigeria, because we
one man,
listen.
where do you live? Do you live outside or in Nigeria?
I live in you are laughing.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, even though I was in Ghana, but we tend to receive news from northern Nigeria, and we understand them better because we speak the same language. Our culture are the same. We eat the same food, but geographically, we don't stay from the same region. You get what I'm saying? So you can be from the same country, but you might be different from the person from
Listen, Zondo. What I'm talking about? What happens in Yoruba land? And I'm telling you that in Yoruba land, a northerner, because we have a lot of Hausa Fulanis in Yoruba land, of course, a Hausa Fulani person would never ever go to a mosque that is being that the imam, that the prayers are being led by a Yoruba person. They
and
never
I'm
ever
saying
do that.
that's why Shaw say it's wrong because if
No,
an
you
house,
know,
you
he
know,
can say it's unacceptable, but he
hold
cannot
on,
say it's wrong
yeah, but they
because I'm
don't do
telling
that.
you what is factually the
Yeah,
case.
but they don't really
No,
do that
no,
based on
no,
that.
no, Mr.
Hold on, Shaw.
Yeah,
Let me say something. Let me say something first. If a person might choose not to pray under a particular imam, it's either they believe that that Yoruba person is doing shirk, it's like intertwining other religions with Islam, and they're not going to follow you that way, you know. But you are not mentioning that. You just limiting that to because of his tribal uh, or his ethnic group.
Well, it is widely known anyway, so you don't take my word for it. Speak
Yeah,
to
yeah.
another
If
Nigerian. They
you,
know
no,
exactly.
yeah, but if you practice shirk, regardless of where you come from, nobody's gonna follow you. I mean, and I'm sure Dr. R or Shaw is gonna agree with what I'm saying. If you understand Islam, right?
No, I'm talking about a proper Sunni because the 90%, 99% of Nigerian Muslims are Sunnis of that Wahhabi
Do
strand.
do you know what shirk means? Do you know what shirk means?
Why would I know? I
Uh-huh.
don't. I'm
So
not
even a
talking.
Sunni
You
Muslim is not gonna
understand?
follow.
Yeah.
Sunni Muslim is not gonna. It's not gonna follow Azazaki from that region. You know Azazaki, the one who
No,
was
but
arrested.
but he's Shiite. Al
Yeah,
Zakzaki is Shiite, and I
yeah.
just told you now that
But I'm
Nigeria is
saying
Sunni.
a Sunni man who is
but
practicing the religion properly, right?
Yeah.
If he noticed that you come from a if you're if you're either Hausa or a Yoruba man that kind of practices African spirituality, he's not gonna follow you in prayers.
But
And
Zongo,
the reason why I was
no, but
hold on first,
You don't follow for
hold
reasons
on,
of
hold on.
ethnicity, not
The
not
reason
for
why
not,
yeah, the reason why I was saying that is when I was in Cyprus, I rolled with a lot of them. Even one of our best imam, he wasn't a Yoruba guy. He was very eloquent when it comes to recitation of the Quran. Even in Turkey, the mosques they allow you to call the azan. He was a Yoruba guy. We follow him all the time. The Hausa people were following him because he was practicing correct Sunni Islam. So I don't know where you're
Mr.
really coming from.
Mr. One Man, I wasn't saying you are wrong. What I was saying is, what I was trying to say is that should be unacceptable. It should not based on ethnicity. It's the best qualified the Islamic law. It's the best qualified, the most pious lead you on prayer. That's it. It's not based on what your tribe is or what your monetary status is. It has nothing to do with that. It's based on who is the most pious lead you on prayer.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I
sure.
meant to say.
Yeah,
Zongo,
yeah, and sure, I agree with what you're saying, and that's what a lot of them do actually. I think because
but that's a fact. The Yoruba Muslims, they do practice shirk. That's a fact.
and I'm saying that's why they
What do
don't
you mean
follow
that's a
them, not because
fact?
they are Yoruba.
Hold
It's
on, hold
because they
on.
practice shirk, right?
Hold on, hold on. This guy, you've done it quite a few times now. You just roll out your subjective view, and then say just assertively that that's a fact. On what authority are you able to say something is a fact about the Yorubas?
But your
Don't
people
do
are known
that.
for
You
magic,
don't
sihr,
know.
sihr, black magic.
You say I suspect. Don't say that's a fact.
No,
What
but your people have studied. Listen, I've studied your people. Your people are
you studied my
Haitian people.
people?
No, but
Are you
you know
an
Haitian.
anthropologist?
No,
Are
no,
we
no,
zoo
no. But
creatures?
can I finish?
What's going on here?
Haitian people, along with certain Muslims in Africa, they practice magic.
They practice magic.
I'll give an example. You know, in the Muslim countries in West Africa and in my country, there are people who are imams that practice shirk, witchcraft. They do it along the side. If you know about it, it's very common in Africa, in the regions I mentioned to you.
Yeah,
Oh
even in
God,
Ghana,
this guy, man.
I wouldn't
This
even
is the
follow you in
problem with
prayer.
all of these Ethiopian Eritrean types. You know, it
No,
is
no,
it's
no,
an
But that's a
identity.
fact. No, no, but that's a fact. You do know that, right? You got
No,
no. One
no,
pastors
man.
it's not a
and
fact.
sheikhs,
I'm not going
imams.
to roll
No,
out.
but
You just
you do
roll
know
out
that, right? You used to
random.
live there. No, but do you know that?
What do you mean? I know that. I'm telling you that that is not the case.
But in Africa,
You're
you've
just
got a lot of sheikhs, a lot of pastors in certain countries in Africa, and I've seen it in the UK. They practice magic behind closed doors.
you're saying it in they've taken you to the magic room and showed you abracadabra. What do
Hold
you
on, hold on. Okay. Let me put it this way, Doctor R. Hold on. Yeah,
this
Doctor R,
guy, man?
I think when you say magic, that's far more extreme. I think like sure, like the closest explanation is say
I think
associating
it's voodoo. Yeah.
associating partners with Allah, which is practicing voodoo, your African spirituality, right? If you practice that, and
I'm
House of
not talking
Man,
about voodoo jinn, you know, the jinns and stuff.
yeah, the jinns and stuff, right?
It's
that's what
just
a
not
voodoo
this.
means, man.
Hold on, Zondo. You see, this is where the problem is right here, and this guy, this Doctor R, is the archetype of that sort of mind. Just
I
that.
don't have that mindset. I don't have nothing
No,
against
no, no. That's
spirituality.
that's
I've got nothing against
okay. Go on.
spirituality.
Man,
All I said,
are
You
you
don't
all,
even know
trolling?
what I'm
One
about
man,
to say. So what are you pushing back against?
I'm
are you
basically no,
trolling?
but who's trolling? I'm not
I
trolling.
said one man. Is it trolling? Are you
No,
trolling one
I'm
man?
not. I was, but now I'm not. You know, but this guy right here, this Doctor R, is the identity card, is the archetype, is the prototype of that sort of, that unthinking, somewhat, rolled into, they wrap around all these prejudicial narratives around a set of people in order
Why?
to
I don't have
communicate
any
to them.
prejudicial
Can
narrative.
you can
I've
you
got
just can
knowledge.
you just hold on, because you said quite a few things. So he's now telling you that all the imams in Yoruba land are shirk or whatever I call them. I don't care, but I suspect that might well not be the case. So he's saying all the pastors are whatever it is. I don't care, but I suspect that is not the case. And then he will roll out all of these somewhat unthinking, you know, uh, grab it off the shelves, sort of prejudicial narratives that they roll around in whatever circle he gravitates to, and then he'll present it and he'll say that is a fact. It's just this that sort of mindset is one of the biggest, and especially amongst Muslims, because that is who they are. But really, it's a wider problem. It's just that lock in a funk, hold them down to some spurious, unfathomable prejudice, and regurgitate it and circulate it. What sort of it's just
Well,
unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I see the Hausa people who are Sunni or who are very like Wahhabis in their thinking. They just don't do that to just only the Yoruba people who they believe are practicing shirk. Even the indigenous Hausa people themselves, they practice animism in northern Nigeria. Do you know that, right? They call them the Maguzawa. They are the indigenous Hausa people before Islam came to them.
spirit possession they practiced, right?
Animism, they worship everything, you know.
No, white
Yeah,
magic they did, like the house of people.
the indigenous one, like the ones like the original Hausa people before the Islam came to them.
So which one is white magic as opposed to black magic?
No, like the good magic, like good luck and stuff.
Oh
That's
God.
what that's what the house of practice. There's two types of magic. There's black magic and there's white magic, but it's
Right.
magic at the end of the day. Magic
Yeah,
is
but
magic.
what I mean is that, Doctor, what I mean is that before the Hausa people embrace Islam, they have their own culture and spirituality that they were practicing. The indigenous
Yeah,
one,
exactly, exactly.
Which
they
they
worship.
still do.
Yeah,
You know they wear a lot of amulets on their arms. This
yeah.
Hausa people.
I don't mean those
Yeah.
ones. The Maguzawa people, they're there, but they have been marginalized. You don't see them in the media. They are in the rural areas. The indigenous Hausa people are there. They are not they don't have Abu Bakr. They don't have the Muslim names. They have their own indigenous names. They call them the Maguzawa. I don't know if you have heard of that before.
One
They are
man, I want to ask one man. One man, what's your religious beliefs? May I ask?
Yeah, yeah,
A spiritual man.
yeah, I'm a spiritual man. Yes, that's my religion. I'm a spiritual man.
So basically, I believe that religion is a private affair. That's why I believe. Like you could practice what you want because it's between you and God. But what do you think of Christianity in general?
Yeah, well, I think I think yeah, Christianity is only marginally better than Islam, which is not a recommendation for anything.
No, I'm
You
talking
know,
about the culture. Like no. I'm asking you. No. I just want to know. Yeah, I just want to know from one man. Yeah, one man. What do you think of Christianity having an effect on
One
your
man
culture?
is funny.
sorry, what? Repeat that.
Do you think like Christianity and Islam should back off when it comes to indigenous culture?
No, no. I think indigenous people should reorient themselves away from any of these Abrahamic faiths.
No,
You know,
what I'm trying to say to you is in terms of holding on to their language, their culture, if you know what I mean, their way of life, but they can have the religion on the side.
I'm not sure that I fully understood that, but let me answer it how I understand it. I think I think Christianity, I think Islam, I think all religions are just tools of enslavement. They are conquest tools. All religions are, especially the Abrahamic ones. They are conquest tools. So they set out to go and conquer and pillage, but then they want to put some sort of piety, some sort of greater good to it, and then they bring out that religious narrative. So, in terms of that conquest pillaging narrative, that is essentially what religion is there to fulfill, I think Christianity is marginally better, but then Christianity is probably one of the worst things on the planet. So, which makes something like Islam, for instance, just an act of evil. I just think it's just a totality of a nonsense. But the thing is, these things are so embedded in our culture and our space now. How we start to
Why is it? I want to ask you why is it that your people, the ones that are Christian and Muslim, especially the ones who Christians I've come across, if I were to ask them about their indigenous beliefs and that, they would say it's evil. They would say all of this. If they were Muslim, they would say the same thing. Do you blame Islam and Christianity for it? Because the ones that are Yoruba Christians, if you tell them about their religion, they'll say it's evil. This goes with other Africans when it comes to spiritual beliefs, including my own people.
Yes, it's the indoctrination, isn't it? If you take Islam, for instance, which I'm saying, citing as the worst example, as soon as a child is born, they whisper a verse into that child's ears. And then throughout the course of that child's life, all the way through adolescence to adulthood, uh, every single day, he has to adhere to indoctrination 5 times a day. So imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine somebody that has been so deeply ingrained with indoctrination to that from the moment of birth all the way through life. So essentially you are mentally enslaved right from birth. So it's very
So
difficult then.
So, how do you? I want to know. Yeah, how do you? I really want to know. Like, how do you view the God of the Quran, and you're entitled to views. But I just want to know, how do you view the God of the Bible and the God of the Quran if you were to stood in front of them? I'm just curious.
I'm not sure that there is a distinction between the God of the Quran and the God of the Bible, because I think they both agree that it's the same one God, but it's just the pathway to Him. So yes. What you're essentially asking is that, do I believe that there's a greater being that orchestrates the affairs of the world? Because of course, if you take the combination of Islam and Christianity, they're just really a tiny little soupçon of what actually makes humanity. They don't believe in Islam in China. There are about 3 billion of them, however many. They don't believe in it in India. So these are just, so your question really is there a greater being, that orchestrates the affairs of the world? And I'm not averse to that, but I'm not quite sure that I've identified it yet. But I'm not averse to it as a concept, but I'm not yet sure I've identified it yet. But it's nothing to do with Islam, that some guy is riding a white horse to the heavens and all of that, fairy tale, whatnot. It's not any of that, but no, I'm not averse to the idea of a greater being, that is a God that orchestrates the affairs of the world.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, I understand.
but
With God,
let me say something. Because even though I mean a lot of us say, because even I think Shaw was saying Islam is more like closer to it's more African than even the Arabia, because the first migration begun in Abyssinia, right? Then,
Yeah.
but we can say emphatically that even Islam in itself was an alien religion to the indigenous Arabian culture over there, right?
Yeah.
It destabilized the indigenous culture at that particular time, right? So why
No.
why why are we
Well, well, I
why
think,
are
Well, hold on, my brother. My problem with that is because it's us. It's not so much Islam. Why Africans have to have Arabic name? Why? There's nowhere in Islam that said we have to have their names.
exactly.
yeah I think
But
I
why
But
do
why?
we
But
have to
why?
have
But
their
don't.
names?
But sure, why is that the case?
yeah
This
but
is the
sure
perfectly.
sure the thing is, like, I mean, I think the early message of Islam was to unify, people with different, views, or different belief system under the same umbrella. But along the way, I think the message in itself kind of corrupted, right? It kind of corrupted.
Well,
But
no. The message is never corrupted. Corrupt people use the message to corrupt the mass. The message was never corrupted. That's why in Islam is the same book that we believe in from day one to today. Nothing
Yeah, but
has changed in that book.
what the point I'm saying is that the understanding of the past is no longer the understanding now. That's what I mean to
Well,
say.
it's because we have psychopaths that have hijacked this religion, which I believe is simple and basic and pure. Because if you look at through under the golden age of Islam,
Uh-huh.
all three Abrahamistic religion live peaceful under Islam. If you look at the Islamic rules, the Islamic law, all three religion can practice their religion and live peaceful. You
Yeah,
don't
I
have
mean,
to be you don't have to be a Muslim. You can be a Christian and Jews and live under Islam territory. And we see that throughout centuries,
yeah,
the
you're right.
best intellectuals, the best Jewish intellectuals, the
Yeah,
best Jewish professors all came from the Islamic world.
yeah,
And
I agree with you.
Jews will prosper under Islamic territory and Islamic leadership more than any time in history and up to today. But if you look at the narratives today, is completely different.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. The primary goal was to unite people under the same, banner of Islamic monotheism, right? But
And
along the
and
way, hold on, let
and
me
that
let me make
and let me just add this one last part to end that. And that part of it is just to believe in God. The rest of it really, it's not so much, the rest of the dogma is not also part of it. It's to believe in God, that's it.
yeah, believe in one God.
Which Christians,
But if you believe in the same God, you tend to unite people, right? Because I
just
think
believe in God.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it kind of united people from that angle too, because they believe in the same God. They practice the same,
Yeah.
no, they have the same practice, right? But along the way, like I was saying, because I remember, like even when I was in, because you saying that why are we using the name Abu Bakr in West Africa? It's not just only us. The Persians are having the same challenges too. The ones who were corrupted. Even when I was in Turkey, they have the same issues. The people who were nationalists, they don't like Islam in their country. The
No, but
nationalist Turk.
Songo, what do you think of the point is here, what do you think of I'll give an example. My workplace, there's a lot of Indians in my workplace that are from a particular part of India called Goa. That region for 500 years was under Portuguese rule. Those people are majority Christian, and majority of them bear Portuguese names. They don't bear Indian names. In my eyes, if you are a person that has a foreign name, whether it's Muslim or Christian, in my eyes, you're a slave.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, but for example,
Absolutely.
yeah. But
yeah, but listen, Zongo, yeah, me, I'm a Muslim. I would want my children to bear Somali names because it
Yes.
doesn't say in the religion. It doesn't say you have to have this type of name.
yeah, but I
No.
mean, Dr. R, hold on. See, I agree what you're saying completely, right? Because that's one thing when I first traveled, when I went to Turkey and I saw, okay, man, these are freaking Muslims, but they freaking have their own traditional name. You can tell, like, though, you can tell from their last names. But for us, the Hausa people, where we embrace the religion, for some reason, I don't know what happened. We left our
Yeah.
own culture
W-
and we
Yes.
embrace.
That's
Hold
the
on,
problem. That is the problem
let me
with.
finish. Let me finish, y'all. We embraced the religion and we left our culture. Man, I've been digging trying to find an indigenous Hausa name, and I can find it. I can't find it. And I know I don't belong from other African tribes. I don't want to use their names because that's not who I am, right? You get what I'm saying? I get it. Like you gotta use an African culture, but you just don't use any kind of African names because that's not who you are. You know, we lost the culture. The Hausa people have completely lost their culture. You
But is
know,
that the same
I,
with? But is that the same with West African Muslims? They've been Islamized. They adopted these names.
but not
with,
all.
yes,
But
of
not all of
course.
them
Of
though. Not
course.
all of them though. I
Well,
think the
yeah,
Hausa the Hausa the Hausa people, they lost everything, man. Because for me, I've been asking my parents, man, you people don't you freaking have any cultural names? If I have a kid, I can name my kid. Because once you travel, you tend to the issue of identity becomes very something of importance or relevance to you. I've been asking, I've been digging myself, but all of them have
and
Abu Bakr, Usman. I'm like, yeah, I guess who I am now. I might
Well,
have.
I
and
want to know what one man
and
has to say. One man.
And before one man, while we're waiting for one man, I would say this is a discussion I've had here in the United States. I had the opportunity to volunteer teaching the Quran with young African American kids. And my biggest questions for them was one, why they have to dress like Arabs? Two, why they having names of Arabs? And this question baffled me. Even in my own culture as a Fulani, majority of our names are Arab names.
Because you've lost your culture, man. The religion.
Yeah,
The,
and we find a lot of words that are not even part of our language. They are Arab words.
yeah, but
You know,
sure, but sure,
like
sure,
let,
sure.
this just yeah.
Sure, if
Like
we're gonna be,
this
if
last
we're
part.
gonna be,
Yeah, just
sure, if
this
we go,
last part. Because
okay,
as a Fulani, I don't even know what is the name of God beyond the Arabic word, Allah.
no, we
I don't
have it
think we
here.
have a word for it. I
Yeah,
don't
we
think we
have it.
have a word for it.
We call it Ubangiji in the house of language. But I
No.
wanted to say something. I wanted to say something, right? I think there's nothing you can do about it, right? Because generally, usually, when you have a dominant culture in the form of religion or some kind of civilization over you, man, you tend to, succumb to their own ways of living, right? There was an Islamic era, and unfortunately, we are in a different era now. I mean, the European influence, but even the Europeans themselves, they don't strictly have European names. Some of them are being influenced by Christian names as well. There's nothing you can do about it, you know. But I
Well,
agree.
in Africa,
No, but
well,
some
in Africa and in our culture, there's something we can do about it, my brother. We can. I mean, it's a generations and thousand years struggle, but we need to start discussing this as like in this kind of platform, like we're doing right now, which is helpful for our people to realize, hey, hold on a second, I can still be a Muslim and be African.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
So let me ask.
contradictory.
Yeah, so let me ask. Good question. Let me ask Dr. R, in the Somali culture, because I mean I met a lot of Somalis, man. I know like there's an Islamic pronunciation of the names that I can tell. Oh, this is how Somalis write their names. You get what I'm saying, like Abdi or something like that. It's an Arabic word, but
yeah,
then you can tell like this is a Somali way of writing Abdul, right?
we
And then
pronounce it. We got basically Somali ethnic names, and Somali. We got like Arab names, but we Somalize those names. But we have a bit of both indigenous Somali names and Arabized Somali names.
yeah, and then in the Hausa culture, that's the same thing we have. The names that we have, we've kind of like Hausalize it too. When you hear my name, you can tell this guy come from. Even the way I spell my Muhammad, you can tell this guy come from this region. Because I notice most of the Arabs, they don't spell Muhammad that way. Even when I was in Turkey, the way they spell Muhammad is different. They call it Mehmet. So when I see the name, I can tell this.
Mehmet, I find that funny. Mehmet.
Yeah, and that's a Turkish Muhammad. You understand? I can tell from that. So every culture kind of like you know use their own culture to kind of like pronounce the Islamic names. I mean, you
But
just gotta
Turkish
accept that.
people,
Mhm.
but Turkish people have got like majority Turkish names or Muslim. It depends.
Yeah,
You see, you see,
they have the Arabic names, right, by the Turkish last names.
Yeah, last names. Yeah, exactly.
let
Last
me
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
can I
But
make just make a point? I'm not gonna be here for long. I just came about to talk about this religion issue, right? As a Bantu, original Bantu, we want to colonize all these countries that are into Christians and Muslims. These religions are of no use in Africa. you know it's of no use as an African person. That's why to be proud as an African, these are the kind of things that you have to talk down on. I mean, religion has no place in Africa, be it Muslim, be it Christian. you know let's focus in building our own religion and create our own temples where we could actually probably build it in Rwanda, where we could actually go to pilgrimage and worship our own God, and spend all the money in Africa instead of going to Saudi Arabia, where women are not allowed to drive to Mecca or go to Rome to check on the Pope. It makes no sense for an Africa. That's why I tell us that we were colonized and we kept all these things that the white man brought. And then we are the same people that, oh, religion started in Africa. Oh, this and that, this and that, just to find way to acknowledge that yes, it started in Africa. But me and you actually know where this religion came from. So it's really a disaster. We have seen the Chinese change their religion after when they were colonized to what it feeds them. The Indian did the same thing. But when it comes to Africa, we are still talking about the white man, the Arabs, come on, man. Look, Africans for Africans, create your own religion, look up to it. People create history and they make it history. instead of saying this and that. It seems like the black man in Africa, has always been in that part of the world where everything was brought to them. They have never created nothing on their own to really show to people that yes, we did this stuff, and it's really
Well,
sad.
well, well,
Um,
well, my brother,
let me
what I
finish. Let me
what,
finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. This brother that was you were teaching Quranic. I mean, you were asking people how they got Arab names. Yeah, you are teaching an Arab religion to people that Look, man, you will have been better off teaching an African culture to these people than teaching an Arab religion. That doesn't matter. Another thing that people say is Somalian culture. This is the thing. Most Muslim culture. I want to acknowledge what somebody said. Most Muslim religion in Africa has dominated their culture, their African culture. That's why in most African Muslim countries, their culture is predominantly a Muslim culture, which is not which is not the same as Christian. You go to Christian countries, despite the fact that you have Christians, they still have cultural display. You use all this traditional stuff that is still happening, but it's not the same with Muslim countries. So the moment we stop all this religion, then things are gonna move forward for Africans. But if not, then we are on the bad side. I'm gonna end it right there and take my leave. Thank you.
okay, okay. Well, since you add me into this conversation, um, I want to ask you how religion is affecting um, Africa economically. And for example, me in Sierra Leone, we don't have a religion problem. We are Sierra Leoneans, we are Africans and Muslims and Christians. We don't have a
No,
problem,
no,
but we're
no,
still
no.
poor.
I have a close friend that is from Sierra Leone, Camara. Me and him, he's on YouTube as well. The way you talk
Right.
about Sierra Leone as a Muslim is not the way a person that is not a Muslim talks about. See, and that is a big issue. You cannot. It's like meeting a Nigerian person and a Fulani talking about we don't have no Muslim issue in Nigeria because he's a Muslim. But it's not the same way a person that is not Muslim is gonna talk about Nigeria. So you cannot
But
take
we,
on your
but we,
opinion that
my brother,
this is
but my brother,
let me finish, let me answer your question. How is it stopping us to do business? For me to do business in Somalia, if I want to open a nightclub, I cannot open a nightclub in Somalia because their religion does not forbid a nightclub. And these are businesses that can boom, it can employ people. But I'm not just talking about nightclub. There are other intermarriages. You cannot do certain things. So these are things that business doesn't flow. I cannot move from one part to Africa because my religion does not permit me to do this. Oh, my religion. No. But if all Africans were thinking the same, having the same kind of religion, that you can be able to do this over here and do that over there, have the same, and that will promote business.
well, again, I'm a Sierra Leonean. Whatever that Kamara brother tells you, let him ask him this question. Let him name one incident in the history of Sierra Leone where we have a religious problem. Just one
It's not
incident,
about the
not
religious.
two, not three,
I'm from
not.
I'm from I'm
let,
from
let me
Cameroon, right? I'm
let me
from
ask you a
Cameroon. We
question.
don't we
Oh,
don't
hold
we
on,
don't have a
Judy,
religious problem in Cameroon, but the
Judy,
problem is
We
this:
don't have it.
we are
Judy,
divided.
Judy.
Even in Cameroon, we are divided. I mean,
Can
we
Hey,
you
don't
hold
have
on?
a religious problem, but we are divided.
Sure. Hold
hey,
on.
We,
Let me ask you a question, sure. As a Sierra Leonean, do you not object to being a Muslim as
no,
a Sierra
I can.
Leonean?
Yes,
Hold on,
I am a
hold
Sierra
on.
Leonean, and
Let me tell you why I'm asking. Then you can answer fully. So, as a Sierra Leonean, certainly as a Nigerian, or especially as a Black African. So, let me speak to that space because that's my space. As a Black African, I feel you must object to being any of the Abrahamic faiths, because by being part of that Abrahamic faith, you automatically, by virtue of that, you subordinate what you are innately, what you are fundamentally. You subordinate what you are to what you are not. You subordinate who and what you are to something foreign. So
well,
you're not instinctually a Muslim. Never mind whatever it is that they are telling you in some fantasy book or the other, you are not instinctually a Muslim. You are instinctually a black African person. And being Muslim, being Christian, is alien to you and almost even anathemic to you. And
Well,
it has not ever worked for your greater good ever
Hold
since
on,
you went into that space.
hold on. I
So
have a question.
one
I
man,
have a question. Hold on, I
one
have a
man.
question. I have a question for
Let,
you guys.
let
Hold
me.
on, hold on. Sure, hold on, hold on. I have a question, right? Let me give you my practical example, right? I mean, ever since I started to travel outside of Ghana, I've had this like yearn to know my identity, to where I belong, right? Because I know like the Hausa environment where I grew is not my indigenous culture. It's like Islamized Hausa culture, right? But when I discovered the real indigenous Hausa culture, I was scared of it, because I've never seen that before. They were practicing animism. It was kind of like really scared though. It was just different from who I am today. You know.
yeah,
Well, one man,
but that is
one man to respond.
sorry, hold on,
One
sure,
man.
hold on, sure. Hold on, sure. You saying that you were scared when you saw native practices being practiced, that essentially makes my point. Because that is who you are. That nativist practice, which you are calling animism or whatever it is, that nativist practice, that is who you are. That's
Yeah,
your
but
One man,
culture.
yeah,
that's
I don't.
religious
So you are
colonization.
not
Hold
That
on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
that's
guys.
examining.
religious colonization.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Guys, hold
this
on,
is
hold
it
on, hold
now.
on, hold on, hold on. I don't mean to come from a point of superiority. I come superiority this thing point of view. I was coming from a point of curiosity, right? And I'm like, what? I mean, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't expecting that this was what I was gonna see. You know, it seems to me
Yeah, but
that
that
it
Now,
is
was
come on,
completely
man.
different.
Come on, man.
that
Why
is
do you
not
talk
the
like a
problem.
kid? You scared? Cause why are Africans like this? You have adopted a religion and kind of look down on your own religion and
Yeah,
say,
when I
"Come
mean
on, man,
scared, I
that's
don't mean like I was like feared. I was like, it's something. It was something that is not um intrinsic to my
yeah."
the
Because
identity I was
you have
raised
a
with.
religion that because you have a religion that you look up
Hold on
to.
today. Hold on
Hold
today.
on, hold on,
Go ahead.
come on, guys, man.
Yeah,
Like, why are you
Let me
acting? Come on, like, guys,
uh,
calm
let,
relax.
down, everybody. One
hold
man,
on.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah,
I've got one man,
yeah.
and Almighty Zuda and Zuda. You got your opinions of you as a Bantu man. One man, you're spiritual. I'm spiritual myself. But one question: if you were to die now, and you were to come to God or Allah or the Christians, and He spoke to you how we are speaking calmly, what would you say to Him if He was going to send you to hell? But He asked you, "Why did you not believe in me?" How are you going to say that to Him?
Well,
What are you going to say to
I
God?
will
I'm interested.
yes, I
Are you
will
going to come to His terms? Are you going to come? If He were to give you heaven, would you follow His terms or go with your ancestors in hell?
all right. Well, I'm sure I made some of your ancestors there as well. Um, but no. If I came across the Abrahamic God and he asks me to account for my life, then I can account for a balanced, fair, and straightforward life. And if that is not good enough to make heaven, then I want to know what is. I don't tend to steal normally. I try not to tell lies. I try to be fair and balanced. I try to look out for others. All of these are do the right thing virtues. I try to imbue them and I try to live by them. So if I imbue and live by them, and come that final day, I'm able to account for a life that is led largely broadly along the right strokes. If that's not good enough, then I'll ask questions.
And one man. So
So,
let me respond.
so like,
Can I
so
respond to one man? One man. Let me respond to your answer. As a Sierra Leonean, I can be Sierra Leonean and African and still be a Muslim. I don't think it's contradictory at all. I can still
What
keep
if
my African culture. Let me finish. I can still keep my African culture and maintain my African culture and still be Muslim.
What is
and
contradicting?
Okay,
What
and
is
to
which one of those three
and
is innate to you? Which one of those three is innate to you? What's more
which
innate
one is
to you?
I
What,
am
what, what-
I am
yeah,
all three.
what goes
I don't
into
see it.
it?
I don't see it as different parts. I don't see it as different parts. I am all three because number one, I disagree with your premise that Islam or Christianity or Judaism is foreign to me. That is brought to me. It is not brought to me. It came from me. It came from Adam.
oh
It
oh
came from
oh
Adam. It came from Adam all the way down to Abraham. And in the Islamic tradition,
Have you heard of was it Rosa Shaw or there was there's this American thing that maybe it was Rosa Shaw, maybe it wasn't, that they went to save that they managed to save 100 slaves, but they could have saved 1,000, but the remaining 900 did not really know or accept that they are slaves. It's essentially a narrative of our mind colonization. You know when I see
exactly.
yeah
Yeah,
when
that's the she's the black woman who's on
is it
American.
Rosa Shaw or something like that? I'm not
No,
quite
she
sure.
has a different name. She has a different name.
Oh,
This
all
girl.
right. So when I see you, sure, if you present as I imagine you would present as a Sierra Leonean, when I first see you, there's three things that will strike me. The first thing that will strike me is that you are black. The second thing that will strike me is that you are male. And then the third thing that will strike me is that you are African. Because all of that automatically presents in your presentation. So as soon as I see you, I identify all those three things. So now you being a Muslim is an appendage to what you are innately. It's a doctrinal sort of indoctrination that the Arabians have been able to use to co-opt your mind and then put you
Exactly.
to
They
replace.
align
So
they align more to Arabs than aligning more to Africans themselves. If you are not part of that religion.
no, and that's why I disagree. That's
Yeah,
why I disagree. I
one man,
disagree with
one
you,
man,
and
one
I
man. Her name
disagree
was
with you.
Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman. That's her name.
I disagree with you in this sense. Hence, why I believe we should keep our own culture. I don't think it's to believe
what
in
about our
God.
religion? What about our religion which predates Islam and Christianity? Our religion. What about
We
Obatala?
can
Ogo?
we can have it. We can
Yemoja?
have it and practice it. We can have it and practice it. I don't see where that is wrong. I do not disagree with that.
No,
We
no,
can
Yeah, but
hold on to
no,
that.
that should be the core of our
yeah,
being, though, not
yeah,
forming
guys,
our own
guys,
religion.
guys, guys. Let's be honest over here. I mean, for those of us who are Muslims over here, we read. I mean, some of us have read the Sirah, right? We know like the pre-Islamic culture in in Mecca or Medina. They practice a lot of uncouth traditions. Something which wouldn't be tolerable in this contemporary age. I mean, similarly, some of the African cultures that we have in the past, there are certain things that it did that a lot of reasonable people wouldn't do it in this current time.
Like Songo, let me
Example,
ask you about Christianity and
example of
Islam. In Islam, it did civilize the people. Like, I'll give an example. Let
yeah.
me ask one man this question: what do you think of your people, the Yoruba people that do money rituals, human sacrifice? Do you see that as uncivilized?
What about stoning a woman to death in the Quran for cheating or whatever? Come on, man. You guys talk about
Where is
stuff
that
as
in
if
the
the
Quran?
Quran was made.
Where is
Oh,
that in the
Come on,
Quran?
man.
all right. I think the conversation is about to go downhill, but we'll struggle on. But
No,
uh,
I'm just asking. No, I'm not asking direct. I'm not attacking what you
not
believe. What
you,
I'm
not
saying is
you, but
human sacrifice. Like, if I want to go kill somebody for whatever reason, whether it's religious, spiritual, or if I want to do whatever I want, like many civilizations practiced human sacrifice. Do you see that as civilized or uncivilized?
well,
Like in some countries, like I'll give an example. The Romans and the Greeks in ancient
no,
times.
I think
No,
you're
but
making.
let me finish here.
Yeah.
Do you think this is disgusting as well? The Romans and the Greeks used to have sex with little boys in ancient times, and they used to be naked with the children. Do you see that as disgusting, filthy?
Are you sure you want to go there?
What about Mohammed
You
that's there with a
need to see
six-year-old
your prophet. You
6-year-old
know the
girl? Is
feelings
that
of the
disgusting
prophet.
as well? Come on, man.
But hold on,
No, but
today.
I'm asking woman
Let,
this question. How do
yeah,
you
yeah.
see that
Let me answer.
culturally?
Let me answer, and then I'll pass the mic on to someone else. So the first question, the human sacrifices, the ritual money, all of that. Yeah, you asked if I find it disgusting. Yes, I do find it disgusting, and also the efficacy of it is not actually proven. So it's not actually proven that they do actually get anything out of this. So it's just some form of barbarism that is taking place. That is why the government and the law enforcement are moving against it quite aggressively. So not only is it disgusting, it's also illegal. There's that. But let me tell you what I find, yeah, even worse is the chopping off of the hand of somebody that you alleged pick a sweet from a shop, and taking somebody to the middle of the busiest square in an important country and slicing their head off, the cheering of the crowd. I think that is savagery.
In the name of Allah, to be
That is
precise.
savagery. Savagery.
What about woman? What about homosexuality?
Well, yes, the culture heavily practiced, of course, amongst the Arabs and the northern Nigerians.
No, I'm talking about homosexual. Do you think
Hold on,
it's, do you think it's abhorrent in general human society?
no,
Homosexuality.
hold on. Have you heard of the dancing boys of Afghanistan? Have you heard of
Yes, I
them?
have. I have. Yeah, I have.
Yes, and do you know why they exist?
No, but I'll tell you right now. Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
It's
There's a
linked
lot
to
of
your
homosexual.
it's
There's a homo.
Islamic,
There's
isn't it?
another woman
He's
that.
gonna
Bombing
defend it.
little
He's
boys is
gonna defend
Islamic.
it.
No,
Bombing
I'm not.
little
No,
boys
I'm
is
trying to
Islamic.
explain. Like, I'm trying to say that in certain cultures, it's tolerated. I'm looking at it from a cultural aspect. A lot of Arabs
No, the
and people
religion
in
backs it.
Pakistan.
The religion backs it, does it not? It's widely practiced along all the Islamic cusp.
No, it does not, one man. It does not. That chopping of the hands, you tell me how many countries, Islamic world, in the Islamic world that practice that. Name them for me. It's not much. It's Saudi Arabia that practices that. The rest of the
So
Islamic world does not live in Saudi Arabia.
so how many countries
Is that
practice
not the main source of
homosexual
your
that he was
religion?
talking
Is
about?
that not the main source of your religion?
Exactly.
I'm sorry? I'm
Is that
sorry?
not? Is Saudi Arabia not the main source of your religion?
Saudi Arabia hosts the two parts of the most whatever place of Al Islam, but no, it's not the main source of Islam, not from the beginning, not to today.
When did it originate from? Where did it
Oh
originate
man,
from?
answer my question. Do you abhor it?
Where does it
Do I
originate
abhor
from?
what? Sorry, do I abhor
Woman,
what?
woman. The message
No, don't worry
from the
about
prophet.
Ethiopia. Nobody cares about Ethiopia. No, nothing's going on there. Do I abhor what? Do I abhor what?
No, I'm saying, do you abhor, for example, do you see like homosexuality as dirty, uncivilized? You as an African spiritual man, I want to know your views. As we're chopping, as we're chopping.
I have a very complex view about homosexuality. It's identified in the human.
Because no, because I want to know, yeah, from your aspect, what is right and wrong. So, as an African, how do you know what is right and wrong?
Yes, but
Because
life is
you abhor. I understand you abhor chopping up and that. I understand that's uncivilized. But what about certain things? You said that money ritual, you abhor it. But what about things like what I mentioned with the Romans and the Greeks? What they did, because the Romans and the Greeks had an advanced civilization, and they did that kind of filth.
No, they didn't have an advanced civilization anyway. They were advanced relative to the time and space. But just to that question, and by the way, there's never anything in life that is a binary choice or yes or no. Life is lived in the gray areas, as you know. But I have a more nuanced regarding that homosexuality is a sort of a thing, because it's actually been identified as behavior in the animal kingdom. So that is to tell you that it is innate to some forms, so if we agree that being homosexual is innate to a certain type of person, then the question then is, do we moralize out of them what is innate to them? So that's a wider space, because of course then that is then superimposing your set of beliefs on something that is fundamentally the core of their being. It's more nuanced than just yay or nay.
So how do you define what is right and wrong if we get rid of religion?
Could I make an
No, no,
input on that?
yes, you define what is right and wrong, really by virtue of the impact of the act itself. You don't need religion if I'm holding onto a phone which belongs to me, and you then, because you are bigger, stronger, and you carry a weapon, you forcefully take that off me. And now you don't need religion to tell anybody that that is wrong. So there's certain things that just by virtue are right and wrong, and then morality and society wraps around that.
Let me make an input, if it's okay. Hello to everybody at the panel. It was quite an interesting discussion, maybe about 10 minutes ago, that made me want to come in. But before I touch that, one man, I want to tell you there are things that have a binary choice. For example, in the Boolean language, right? I don't know how much you know about computer language, where you choose between true or false, right? Those are the Boolean values, true or false. Now, that's what we should be talking about, especially when we're reaching out to talk about Africanism. It doesn't mean we're monolith. There is no language that's African.
Sorry, hold on one microsecond. Pansa, just administrative stuff.
Sure.
Shout out to Zondo Native, £20 to the stream. And then Kala Genesis, he also enjoying it and nods in the direction of the stream with a $5 super chat as well. So keep the super chats coming. Back to you, Kampansat.
Thank you very much. So, like I said earlier, as a Boolean operator with no input, it always returns the same values. Therefore, true and false are the only two Boolean operators that don't take an input. We shouldn't be talking about what is right and what is wrong. As an African of today, who are trying to piece it together, right? There was never like an African country, for example. We're Africans, naturally, that's true, because of our characteristics. Like one man said, he could identify somebody because by observation, their color, their hair, texture, and things like that, right? But when you're dealing with true or false, which is the only way we're going to be able to not only catch up, but trounce the people who want to hold us down, it's true or false. Now, we have to put everything to that test. That's actually how Oyibo eventually emancipated themselves, because they had the same problems we have now as Africans. They practiced all types of religion in the past. They did sacrifice, human sacrifice. They did all the things you abhor that Africans do today. They've done it already. It's just that at some point in their lifetime, they then decided to pursue true or false as what stands up to anything. Even if, let's say, you ascribe to us that we worship a certain deity, at some point, as a society, we then have to put it to test, and our intellectuals will then argue that, hey, look, people should be able, as an individual, you could believe in whatever you want. But as a society, we're secular. We don't adhere to any particular religion. So that's what Oyibos have up today. Now, I believe it was Mr. So, he's gone now, that was making a cogent point earlier. I mean, he answered those questions when it came to Islamic religion and other things. And I don't think there's any need to repeat it, because he was right. And then I'll pass it back to somebody else, and I will answer any question. I hope you understood what I'm talking about. Not
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Can you elaborate about what he said? Because what did he say? What was he right about what he said?
Yeah, what he said, I think he was speaking to somebody or himself. He's from Sierra Leone, right? And he was making the case that
they don't have a problem in Syria alone because obviously the dominant society there, they're probably Christians or whatever, right? Therefore, if you asked a Muslim over there, hey, do we have a problem here? The Muslim might say, yes, we have a problem here. Do you understand? But if you asked, he used Nigeria, for example, if you ask a Fulani or Northern Nigerian, do we have a religious problem in this country? He's probably going to say, no, we don't. But if you go further south or you go through some parts of Southwest and the South, they say, yeah, we do have a Sunni Islamic problem in this country that we have to deal with. So it's a matter of perspective. But none of these things, like when it comes to a church, this is where Africans get it wrong all the time. In discussions, they concentrate on what is right and what is wrong, right? Because there's latitude. Somebody I could believe that something is wrong and you believe that something is right. And then we could debate it, and then it's going to be by preponderance that an observer or somebody who's judging an arbiter could make a choice and say, okay, you know what, I think this guy has more. He wins the debate. Or then they're going to talk about what is right and what is wrong, right? What is good and what is bad, that type of thing. They're subjective. But when it comes to true or false, there is no latitude. It's a binary choice. That what something is true or something is false. So Africans would do much, much better by concentrating on the last one there, true or false. So, and then when you will come on a platform like this, that's where we have to galvanize. You cannot let the bad actors overwhelm that lonely voice, like Mr. So. I believe that's who it was. I don't know. I didn't really look at the names because when you have
Shaw.
Shaw, right? Okay. But it's not Shaw So. I thought it was the last name was SOW.
Yeah, it was so yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend who's not far away from me here, who is from that area, and his name is So. So his last name is So might be related to that guy. So that's what I'm saying now. You find a platform after platform, the one lonely voice that is trying to talk about true and false, who's going to advance us, is often couched in Oyibos do this, do that. But if you go, it depends on how far back you go. If you go back, the Oyibos were cavemen at some point, right? So were Africans. So we have all those things in common. And one man also mentioned the time factor. Depending on how far back you go. The enemies at some point, they're no longer enemies because they did that one thing that I keep pouncing on. So let me leave it like that right there, and then I'll still be here.
Pansa, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
What do you think of like things like superstition, like people like doing mad stuff, like what your ancestors used to do? Because I read something on Wikipedia, but I want to ask you this. The Igbo people used to basically inquire about their ancestors, and they used to go to the oracle and they'll ask the oracle if this person has done something bad in his life or whatever. And the colonialists used this tactic. They were using the spiritual man in order to sell their people into slavery, using their spiritual system. Like, let's say they'll ask the oracle if this person was a murderer in his life, and the colonialist was there, and they would basically use this system in order to do what they were doing.
Right. That is part of our culture. And
superstition in general. Because I asked one man basically on the concept of hell. If you were to die and if God were to give you heaven, would you go to hell, be with your ancestors, or would you go on your own terms of fear of hell?
Right.
Because hell is in all cultures, and I can tell you more about hell if you want.
No, that's what I just said. If you extrapolate my entry comment here, I'm saying to you, you're asking me now. Now I'm a scientist, right? I will flatly tell you that I do not believe in superstition. So if you're going to come into a common area, if you're going to come into a society, right, you could hold on to whatever your belief, individual belief. That's your belief. You cannot say to me that is my belief as well, unless I'm one of you, right? You cannot do it by tribe or by family even, or by race. As a scientist, it's what is true or false is what we hold in common. Everything else is cultural, and you're free to practice it without imposing it on me. Now, we have to have in our constitution, it has to be secular. in nature, and that's where you have to look at Africans, whether they want you to look at them or not. So, because I
Truth,
remember,
truth, logic. You care about truth and logic, right?
right, truth, right?
But I've got this question for you. Yeah, what if one of your friends did something really bad? What would you think of him? Like, I give you an example. Your friend works in a low-paid job, and his boss is treated him really badly. He's been causing him problems for 5 months, anxiety, bullying. One day he gets a picture of him. He goes to the witch doctor and he tells the witch doctor, I want you to teach this employer of mine a lesson, and I just want him to lose his job. But this man, he's driving his family down to, let's say, a barbecue down the road. And he dies. He dies, and your friend hears the news about his employer being dead, and he comes to you and he tells you what he did. How would you look at that?
Well, first I want to know where the
Sorry, guy,
barbecue.
are you all right? What's going on here? Have you been drinking? What is it?
No, no, I'm just asking, like, how would you like feel?
Well, you're
Tell
laughing
if
at
your
your own
friend,
jokes.
The-
What's going on?
it wasn't an inside joke, right? But like I said, the first thing I want to know is where's the barbecue, so I could help myself with some delicacies, right?
Hey,
But
hey, I want to say something though. I have an issue with. Hey, Carla, thank you very much for joining the show. For respecting the invite. I have an
no,
issue with
sorry,
Carla
sorry,
Genesis.
Papa. I wanted to finish off
Oh,
Pansap's
okay.
question, but if your friend was crying on your shoulder and he told you, I did this, I killed him, would you believe him or would you say, go see a doctor if you actually believe he killed his boss?
I would report him to the police, right? Even if it's my friend, even if it's my
No,
family
but
member.
I'm saying spiritually, he basically,
Spiritually,
yeah.
spiritually, like I said to you, that is not really something that I would be any help with, because the answers I'll be giving you, some of it, some of the time, I mean, I cannot just believe him. I'm going to want to hear from other sides if I'm going to be acting as an arbiter. That's always a role. When you ask me a question, what I do is to play the role, right? That's required. I cannot listen to, like the Japanese say, you cannot listen to one and judge two, right? So I will first play that role of trying to elucidate on the facts, right? I'm not going to just take his word for it. But there are a lot of things that come into that intersection. One of them is my role as an individual who believes in the rule of law. I will report him to the police even before I give him an advice, right? And none of the advice I'm going to give him is going to be to shield.
Even if you do, my brother, even if you do report him to the police and he goes to the police station with him and he told them, they're gonna laugh their heads off. They're gonna say, "Get the hell out of our police station," and they'll even arrest him because it's superstitious.
No,
If you
no,
show
that's
it,
not. No, no, that's not true because
no, of course it's true. Like if I go to the police station right now, let's say if
yeah,
I was your friend and I come with you and you report me and we go together and I hand myself in and you tell me what I told you, they're gonna laugh their heads off thinking, could you show us proof? There's no proof. This was an
right,
accident. This was
right,
an accident.
right,
So
right.
they're
That's
gonna
you
tell
just
you go.
right. You landed at my point I was making earlier, right? They're not just going to dismiss it out of hand. Of course, they're going to do what? An investigation. And then they're going to be do what is an investigation? Is it going to be
It's
based
not
on
gonna be
truth?
no investigation. They
Hold
tell
on.
them
There will be. Hold on. There will be an investigation because they're going to first find the body, motive. Because he could say, hey, look, I killed him by superstition, like you say, but he might have killed him by putting something in his drink that is actually potent, right? So the way he interprets what is the true cause of death may not be the superstition. It may be actually whatever it is that he put in his drink could be poisonous. They have to do an investigation. Now, that investigation, that is where the true or false come into play. Is that a body? Is there, do they have contact, right? There's a window that he could have done it. He's not going to be exonerated by saying, look, superstition, it's lunacy, for example, which is the point you're trying to make. No, because there'll be facts and there'll be
I feel
truth.
as though this guy is taking us on a tangent that
Absolutely, absolutely.
is a meaningless sort of a. Is
Yeah,
there a
no,
vital point that
Yeah,
you're?
can
Do
I
you
ask
want
my
to?
question to
Yeah, yeah.
Carla though?
Ask your question. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Carla, for honoring my invite and hopping on the show. No, I have an issue with Carla. when I started to travel for the first time, it was in Cyprus. I was still in my development phase, trying to identify who I am. And then I hop on YouTube. Boom, there you go. Collagenesis. A Pan African. A Pan Africanist, He was, preaching the African stand, having a nation state, infrastructure, economy, competitiveness at a global level. Man, I kind of buy into that, because at that time I was like my lower end. I was dating a Turkish girl, even though we practice the same religion. I felt the loyalty. She had no loyalty to where I come from. She never liked African women. She always is jealous of them, and I kind of feel like in the future it was going to cause a lot of problems. And fast forward, I came to the state and I was shocked. I came to the state. I met people that come from the group that Collagenesis comes from, and they asked me silly questions like, "Hey, do you guys play with the lions in Africa? Do you guys live on trees?" I'm like, "What? Collagenesis? What is going on?"
Yeah, you got
This
you
guy,
got you gotta stop hanging around ignorant people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where these. I don't know where do you guys find these
what?
people at? I can just the other day. A guy comes to my office, a client of mine, right? And he's from Brooklyn, Queens. Like I'm from Queens, but we're just hitting off and whatnot, and this and everything. And the subject came up about Africa. I said, "Yeah, my brother Bramani does tours and whatnot." And come to find out, yeah, he knows. We were sitting there talking about the different countries and everything. So it's not like it was 10, 15 years ago. More and more black in America know what's going on in the continent. They know everything that's going on in the continent. And if you run in 2023 and you run somebody to talk like that, they're ignorant. The
Hmm.
people never picked up a book in their life.
Genesis,
The
your
people that
system
don't
is
want to know
breaking.
anything.
Color your mic. Your
We
mic.
can't hear you.
You're breaking up a little bit. Do you want to make
Okay,
adjustments?
Yeah, just
let me go out and come back in.
because initially
Let
I
me
used
go
to
out and
think.
come back in.
Yeah, because initially I used to think, oh man, it's just this little guy's from Illinois. Then I met someone from in New York City, asked me the same damn silly question in Washington State. Another person asked me the same damn silly question. And another person from California asked me
Zongo. To be
the same damn
honest,
question too.
Americans are not really educated about Africa. They don't even know what the
No,
capital
no,
of America is.
no. But I don't mean all Americans. I mean specifically the black ones.
No, but can you blame them? They don't know much about Africa.
Yeah, yeah. Because I heard someone like Carla when
More,
I was outside of America.
more and more black people. So you guys get hard on black people, right? But the people who act ignorant about Africa are white people. I spent my whole life defending Africa, most to white
No,
people.
but color, but Americans in
White people
general.
believe.
I just told Zongo, the average American doesn't even know much about Africa, let alone if you ask them what's the capital of America, they're gonna say to you is New York, even though New York is not the capital.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is, you guys asked about how Americans are, black people, white people, everything. We see ourselves, America is the place on top of the hill, and everybody else do not matter. Really, I'm just serious. People do not matter. It's not just in America, right? If you're from New York, right? People from the outside New York complain about people in New York don't know the thing. People's like, I'm from Pennsylvania. People in New York never heard of my city. People from especially how people from New York treat people from New Jersey. You don't matter. You're New Jersey and upstate New York and whatnot. Forget about it. And so therefore, America on the whole, like everything is consumed in what's good for America. Everybody else does not matter in the world. So it's not important to study other cultures and study other lands and get to know it because America has always been the strongest country, is on power, and so therefore there's no incentive for you to respect, not just they may you, but they don't respect you enough to know anything about you. I knew all about Africa when I was 10 years old. I had a set of encyclopedias. You know, I knew every last single country, every single capital. I knew all the history, everything when I was 10 years old. I didn't even learn that in
Yeah, yeah.
school. I learned that because I went to the library, I had
It's getting better.
books and everything. That's why I said when I was growing up,
And that's one thing I like about Kala
because I wanted to learn.
because I was like, damn, this guy is raised in America, but he knows about the continent more than I do. So I
Yeah,
gave him a list.
hold on.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
one of them.
Have you been to Africa, Carla?
Oh man, several
yes,
times. Yeah, he
yes.
has a
You
said he
have.
like
And
he
yeah,
has
I'm going back. we're doing a tour. We're going to tour. We're building a tour. My partner Bomani just got back from Tanzania. He's taking over 600 people to the continent. We're doing our first tour to
Are
Liberia
you
in this March
are
and
you part
April.
of that? Sorry, Kala. Are you part of that? That Uhuru, back to Uhuru or something. You know that guy, Dinas something or the other. Are you
You talking about Dinus.
you part of this now?
Dinus and I are friends and everything like that. But
All right.
now Dinus basically gave me a platform and everything. We're cool. Me
Yeah.
and Dinus are friends and everything. But I don't agree with the whole citizenship thing. And I'll tell you why. And this is going to shock a lot of people, right? I don't believe African Americans, being a privileged group of black people on the planet, right, should have African citizenship. Dual citizenship. I just don't believe it. Why? Because when I go to Liberia and go to Africa, being a Liberian, being an African is something that they have to really live with. It's not for you to wave your bourgeois black middle class passport. Oh, I got a passport and everything like this is show off in front of white people. I got alternative. No, those Africans got to really live with the fact that Sierra Leone almost had a coup. You know, look at the thing that's going on in Africa. Look at the war that's raging in the Congo right now. We might have a genocide again. That's the reality of Africa. Black people in America just want all the nice trimmings of Africa. They want the trappings and the good life, but we try to earn a living on the continent. Try to learn a living. Try to go a living, and the jobs you complain about in America, what they will kill for in Africa. So the bottom line is this. So what I'm saying is, I don't want to make myself equal to somebody that I'm not gonna have equal struggle with. You know what I'm saying? So
No.
so I'll take my
I
U.S.
think
passport, do what I
no,
gotta do in Africa.
no.
Uh,
I think you're
Carl, I've
getting
got a
that wrong.
question.
I think you're getting that wrong. You can go. You can go to Africa and you can take up citizenship and you can come in. Hold
Why?
on, and you can come in at whatever entry point your entry point is. So you don't have to go to Africa to dumb down and live like an African. You can go down to You can go to Africa and try and elevate that space to be nearer to where you are. So you don't have to
Okay.
meet them. You can.
But here's the thing, brother. We have people have been trying to do that for decades now. And for the most part, right? It's falling on deaf ears. When people there's people like us, me, that believe in that we could build new city states, smart cities, and everything, and we can elevate everybody and like that. But the thing is, the people on the ground, their allegiance is to whoever's paying them right now, which is France, the UK, and all these other places like this.
No.
And
That's not your entry point. Your entry point is not taking on the UK, the France, whatever. That's at a governmental level. What you are doing
but
is
that's what's going to have to
hold
happen.
on.
That's what's going to
Let me
have to
just
happen. We got to
no,
have government level engagement.
yes, but you can't just come off the aeroplane and then change the whole country just like that. That's not how life works. Your entry point is let me cite you an example. There's this American guy, African American. He served his time in America. Got to his retirement port, and then he looked at where he wanted to retire to. Of course, the United States is never an option. So he was looking at these Latin American spaces, these Philippines, etc., etc. Ultimately, he decided to go and settle in Ghana. So with his pension pot, his savings and everything, he went into Ghana, bought an expanse of land, brought in new form of seedlings, like those sweet corns that you have in America. They don't have it there. So
Hey, brother, let me say
so,
something. Let me stop right there.
those are the
We're
entry points. So
we're
you're not
doing
going
that.
there
We're
to
building a
say
community in
they
Ghana.
are not going to be beholden to France anymore. That's not your place, and that is not even your power, But your power is those satellite little entry points,
Okay,
changing community after
right. You gotta let me.
community,
So you gotta let me
and that
speak.
is
You
where
gotta
it
let me
is.
respond. You got to let me respond. Right. First of all, we have a community like that called the Black Star community in Ghana. Right. We have several people living on the land, and it's right. No problem. There's no end of getting retirement people to go there. Right. To go to Africa. Right. But the retirement people also got to have a good healthcare system, medical system, and everything like that you're used to in America. Because that's what I work in the healthcare field. You know, Healthcare, doctors, clinics, everything. That's another challenge right there. Infrastructure challenge, everything right there. Now, just going to Africa and when you're retired, you got a pension. Yeah, that's beautiful. We have people doing that all the time. What we're talking about is like when you got people in their money making years between the ages of 18 and say in their 50s and everything like that. That's the challenge right there. What do you those people who don't have retirement? How do they engage Africa? And I say the best thing you could do is
Yeah, but you can still
go back
engage
and
it at
forth.
that point. What stops you? What stops
Yeah,
you what stops you at your full pump to go and make your fortune in Africa? What stops you?
because I make my fortune in America, and I've seen so many people. Almost everybody I've seen going to Africa have lost.
Lost
I'm
what?
just being honest with you.
Yeah,
I have never seen an African American go to Africa and get rich and whatnot, except a few
Yes,
cases.
because you don't go
I see
prepared.
everybody go there, they
yeah,
Because
lose.
but
you don't go prepared.
one man. Hold on. I think Kala has a point about this citizenship thing. I mean, he says he doesn't want to take citizenship, but he has a fiance from Liberia. There's a reason why he's saying that,
Yeah,
right? There's a lot of people with citizenship, but they go there, they cause problems, they complain about they want free land. They have all those benefits. They want cheap stuff.
right. Those are the type of black
Yeah, but
people that
that's
want
part of
want
it
stuff
too
handed
now.
to them.
That's part of it too. They can go there with those expectations, and then whatever they meet there with those expectations then forms the next level of their interaction. So you can go there with whatever it is you're expecting, but then when you get there, whether you get it or not, whether you're able to negotiate it or not, whether you get it to whatever level or not, that is still part of the embedding back in. So, but don't go
Here's a model
that, that you are
I
married,
see. This is a model I
married
serve to
in
see.
Africa and then you are going to rescue them. You are
Jason,
not
I
going
Yeah,
to
Jason,
rescue
he's
anybody.
way connected to the people by way of marriage than even
yeah,
going with
I'm married to
citizenship.
a Liberian. Check this out. When I go to Liberia, right, and I learned this years ago, is that I learned to follow the models of Liberia. Black America have a good thing with the large numbers of Liberians in America that travel back and forth and invest. I have so many Liberians that lived in the States for decades, right? They're going back investing in farms and building houses and everything. They create the template thing. One thing they always say. I say, yo, so are you gonna give the U.S. passport? They're like, "Bump that! I ain't giving them a U.S. passport." They would rather pay the visa fees every year. And me personally, I don't have to pay a visa fee because I get diplomatic visas I got diplomatic visa when I go to Liberia. I got that connection. I get a diplomatic visa. I can go anytime, any country, anytime I want to. Anyway, but the bottom line, they said they'll pay the visa fees, everything, just so they can. The kids are in African American HBCUs. They're in America making money and everything, and they're sending money home to invest and everything. They go back and forth, and building and everything like that. Then one day they might retire. Some of them get lucky and they have enough set up where they have a business where they can say, okay, I could quit my job in America. I still have my house in America. Some of my family still lives here, but I'm going to live in Liberia at least 9, 10 months out of the year. But just to basically say, I want a passport so I can just live in Africa and everything like that. When a country's not developing like that, it's not feasible. And also, you make yourself available. You have to have engagement with NGOs, which is like a government, or you have to have a government that has a plan. In African countries, let me say this: every country in the world has a 100-year plan, 50-year, 100-year plan, right? They have benchmarks and stuff like that. They bring in and stuff like this, and the investors come in and say, "This is where I can fit in your 100-year plan. We can build this right here. That'll be right on track with this right here. But there's no such thing when it comes to Africa. It's just
No, no,
basically
that's
people
not
living
true.
by the day.
No,
That's not
Kala,
true.
Kala, Kala, Kala. Ghana they have those plans. They have it.
Yeah,
Nigeria,
Ghana does not have a plan because Ghana's going to the IMF for the 19th time. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
And
they have
Ghana
what
just
are you
the
got
talking
yeah
about?
they have the
Ghana,
What are
development
you
goal,
talking
but
about?
politicians don't want.
not only that,
Hold on,
Ghana
hold
is
on.
spying on Burkina
Kala,
Faso. The
Kala,
country I
Kala.
see right now is
Can
Burkina
you hear me?
Faso.
Kala, can you?
You
If
know, yeah.
if you slow it down a bit, then we can make it conversational so that people can insert into what you're saying, interject, etc., etc. Um, Ghana does have 100-year plan. Nigeria does have 100-year. Every country has 100-year plan.
I don't
So,
believe it.
well, you don't have to believe it, but that's the case. Are they
Oh, you can
hitting
go
the Are they
online.
hitting the
You can just go
target?
online, Google
No.
that online. You find it online.
Are they hitting the target? No. But do they have a plan? Yes. Of course, they have a plan. What do you think they are doing? What do you think the governments are doing if they don't have a plan? Of course, they have a plan. Is that even an argument? Sorry, back to you. Hello?
Back to who?
Oh, whoever wants to pick it up.
Yeah,
I
one
don't.
second,
Hello,
guys. Let
hello.
me just shout out to the sponsors again. Shout out to FlexTop for $5. He says, "I need that Kenyan de-dollarization stream. I'll do it tomorrow." Dusty Africans are allergic to dollar topics. I agree. Africans like culture. They don't like to build anything or anything. I agree with you. And also shout out to Jan Zola for the $10 super sticker. I appreciate you. And also we have Zongo Native over there for the $20 and Kala Genesis out here sponsoring Dusty African streams. I appreciate the support, guys. You're helping. Every super chat, by the way, guys, helps Africa because we're giving Africa euro dollars so that they can actually pay off their debts and survive.
Help Africa or helps your alcohol habits.
Yeah, can
Hey,
you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
hey,
Yeah,
Carla, I shared even
hello, I got a
the
question.
40-year developmental plan in Ghana in the back chart. I mean, they have it. I mean,
Yeah,
every
yeah. Look,
yeah,
look. Let me say something. Let me say
every
something
institutions have it.
respectfully, right? Let me say something respectfully. Yeah, look, everybody has a foyer. Do you follow it out? The benchmarks are they achieved, and then almost in Africa they never achieve. If they had 40-year plan and whatnot, you would not see so many people crossing the desert in the Mediterranean trying to get out of there.
Yeah,
You would
I agree.
see. I watched Asia develop. Develop whatnot. When they say like the only country I see that has a plan that's actually working is Rwanda. I'm just being honest. Rwanda, when every benchmark that Paul Kagame set, despite all the political stuff like this, he neatly benchmarked. And they said another 10 years, Rwanda is going to be the first African country, sub-Saharan, that has first world status. You know, but everybody in Africa wants to see him fail. They want to blame him for the Congo and everything like that. And that's what it is. When you like this, so everybody has plans, but how can you carry it out? And also, there's a thing called continuity. That means when I had Kidola on one time, right? On the Bomani show, right? And I asked him, Kidola, his Edo, his state where he comes from, right? I said, how do you going to develop when you guys tribalists control the land? I said, when you have a centralized state and has domain, they can parcel out land to developers, industrial zones, everything like this. But you got these dusty ass people call themselves kingdoms and everything like that, but you have a mockery of a state. In order for you to have benchmarks and everything, the state has to have absolute authority to carry out projects and do benchmarks and do logistics and everything like that, and all the stuff like that. The checks and balances, all like this. If you don't have that, it's a running joke. Rwanda
Yeah,
is going to be
Carla,
the first African
Carla,
country.
Kala,
hold on,
you're
hold
not.
on, woman, hold on. Man, Carla, I think in Ghana, I mean, most African society have a centralized authority. You know, because I know for a fact, even in
No,
Ghana,
I don't believe that. I don't.
all the
I
nat
don't
no,
believe that
hold on. All the natural
because
resources
the
belong to the state. All the natural resources, unlike in America, whereby even if you find oil on your own land, that belongs to you. All the natural resources beneath the ground belongs to the state. I mean, I
well,
mean,
also in the end, I'll say
there's
something.
a different way Africans approach to how nation state operate. They don't just dismiss their issue.
Have the Africans ever read? Have the Africans ever read Plato, Plato's book, The Republic? That's where it really comes from. You can't just make up your own version of the nation state and survive in the modern world, where you're gonna get eaten up alive. For example, all these so-called king people don't even realize about African history, right? I'm gonna give you something. That's what I'm kind of show the other day. Do you know this idea of the king or the chief holding land is not really indigenous to Africa? That's something that the Europeans brought and everything that the Africans adopted. Africans didn't bow to kings prior to the Europeans coming there. You know, Africans had councils, supreme council of elders, and craftsmen and warriors and everything
So,
Yeah.
that made the
Okay.
decisions. That
Okay.
the
sorry.
king had.
Hold on. How was land owned before the Europeans came?
Well, the land was owned. First of all, when the land was in Africa, was not owned by one chief that owned all the land. He had villages and everything that had a tributary system. Just like a tributary system, this village is a network, and then there's a tributary agreed upon system of government, which this usually in western part of West Africa was controlled by the hierarchy called the Mansa, you know, so therefore the tributary system.
The
Part of the
Mansa.
tributary system was yeah, Mansa means leader, you know, and then these tiny Mansas that were Mansas, right, had control over, had responsibility of protecting trade routes, protecting the people, security, and all the stuff like this. And the tributary system was kicked up like this, you know. This idea that one person controls large numbers of people and they had no say so. And not only that, each tributary
I'm not
system
sure.
had a council.
No, don't worry about all that. I'm not sure where you're getting all that from.
But that's important to know. That hold on. But
No, no,
that's
it's
no,
not
that's
important
important.
to
No,
know.
study West African history.
Don't
I
worry.
study West African history.
And I don't worry
I
about.
study West
No,
African
no,
history,
no, no.
right?
Forget what you studied. Let me tell you what I have lived. So forget what you've studied. Let me tell you what I have lived. Um, we've always had a system of kingship, of rulership, all throughout
Like that,
Africa.
right? That you one people had guns and they could uproot whole villages and have the people in kind of chaos, constant chaos. And much of the slave trade happened because the wars, because of gunpowder, created a refugee crisis where people were intruding on other people's land, started living there, and next thing you know, there was easy targets for people who wanted slaves and everything because they were not considered part of their the tributary system, and so they weren't paying anything. So that's why they were uprooted and sold into slavery. So the bottom line is this idea of a king bowing down and all stuff like that. They owned all land. The Europeans kept that in place for their own exploitation. That's why you have the castles. You know, this king owns a castle.
What
Like,
are
no,
you
the
even
Europeans
talking about?
actually control the castles and all this stuff like
What
that.
are
You
you
know.
talking about? What are you
Well,
talking
I'm talking about what I'm saying is you're trying to build Africa on a facade. You know,
on
you're
a
never gonna build
facade?
anything. A facade, yes.
Are you? Okay, just
Look,
hold
look,
on.
hold on, look at Africa. Europe was a friggin' backwater. All these cities, Liverpool, all these cities in Europe were just swamp, feces-filled backwaters, right? After African cities had boasted big cities like Benin, Edo, and Kano, and Ibadan. These were big cities. Benin City was bigger than Amsterdam, you know. But look at what happened in relation with Europe, and now those cities, European cities, grew into metropolises, and African cities went down the tubes. West Africa was once strong and powerful, and now look at it and look at compared to Europe right now. And you're telling me who won and who lost.
And I'm not telling you who won and who lost. What I was trying to say is that we did have we have a monarchical system in Africa. We've always had it predating the European
Arrival.
incursion. We've always had that. So I'm not quite sure where you're getting your history from.
No,
Uh,
what I'm talking about is this one man has absolute authority over everything, but he didn't have to defer anything. In fact, if you look at read Basil Davison book Lost African
Forget.
Cities,
No, no, don't
and
worry about. Can I
hold,
speak?
hold, hold,
Can I speak?
read him. He'll tell
I
you that
don't want to read
African
any of
cities
your.
and
Let me just.
kingdoms were way more advanced than Europe was in lessening the power of the king. This idea of a king having all this power and stuff like that, you know, didn't have to defer to anybody, is something that they borrowed from the Arabs and the Europeans who came with Islam and came with the
No, no, no,
European
no, no,
Christianity.
Can
no,
you
no,
hold
no,
on?
no.
Sorry, Zando. Let me
Woman,
just.
let me chime in one thing, right? I agree when it comes to the Hausa tribe in northern Nigeria, they kind of implemented the Islamic way when it comes to their rulership. But when you go to Ghana, the Ashantis, I mean, they always had a central authority when it comes to their ethnic group. I mean, I just wanted to just chime in that they always had that.
And as did the
Yeah, but they, but the king,
hold on,
no, the Apostle Warrior,
guy, just settle down. It's not a you don't get to be right if you talk the most. Just let other people speak. Just like the Ashantis, we had also, you're laughing. We have a king who we call an Oba. This predates what 5, 6 centuries going back through time. We have a
the
kingship.
Oba was Yoruba.
Can you do you mind? Can I speak? We have a kingship called an Oba, and then under that kingship, we have um people that they call Oyomesi, and that is the Council of Chiefs. So you don't have an all-powerful one person saying yay or no, nay. He wields the most power, but he never wields absolute power because there are checks and balances in the structurings of that society, which the council ensures that the greater good of the community is always paramount. So I'm not going
Yeah,
to.
but let me get where let me get right here. That was good until the Europeans introduced guns and they wanted slaves. And then what took precedence is what was a greater good or what the Europeans wanted. Because if they did not go along, they would be taking on slaves themselves. So that basically altered everything you're talking about. That's the truth.
No, no. So slave trading in Africa predates European incursion.
But it wasn't the same thing. It wasn't a large commercial area like we was in the transatlantic slave. You're apologizing for the transatlantic slave trade, which is unacceptable.
There was the
That's
trans-Saharan slave trade
yeah,
for
but it was never in the numbers. There was never in the numbers of commercial
never in the numbers.
chattel like the Europeans
How do you know that?
because it's
The
simple reading the book.
trans-Saharan slave trade is still going on till date. What are you
Yeah,
talking
but they
about?
don't talk about
Oh,
trickles.
one
The
man, one man.
trans-Saharan thing are trickles. You didn't
Yeah,
have people. I'm talking about hundreds of ships packing people
yeah,
on,
one man.
throwing them off the board or whatever by the millions
All right,
Yeah,
for
one man.
300 years.
all right. It's
One
just
man.
it's
The
kumbaya, isn't it?
Yeah, one man. The practical reality is in the United States, the Caribbean island, Brazil. That's a result of the trade.
Yeah, no, come on. You got to realize you're talking to somebody who knows what he's talking about. Study African history probably longer than some of you guys have.
Right. No, nobody's. Well, I'm saying nobody. I am not saying that.
Trans-Arab slave trade is nothing, had nothing on the transatlantic slave trade. Nothing.
All right. So what's the wider point you're making? Because I'm lost in the fog.
What I'm trying to say is, when you say let's just come back, whatnot, you let's say like what was Ghana called? Ghana was called the Gold Coast,
No, no, no.
right? A
Hold on.
protectorate
I
of
think we
British,
are looking
right?
at it the other way around. Um, People are asking you to come back only really for you to have somewhere that you can call home. They're not begging you to come back.
We have
They're
a
not
home. We have a home. We live in
doing
America.
anything to you.
I'm trying to tell you. No, I'm trying to tell you, people. Yes, that's how African Americans we feel, right? You know what I'm saying? We Everybody needs an escape, right? The Jews have Israel. Mexicans always say he has Mexico. We're the only group of people in America that don't have an escape. I've had when I was growing up, when I grew up around a lot of white kids in white suburbia. They be white as everything. I'm going to Poland for the summer. I'm going to Germany for the summer. Oh, yeah, I got relatives and they show you pictures of the distant cousins in Scotland and Italy and Sicily and stuff like that. And the black people, African American, we don't have anything. So therefore, there's a cultural connection of just basically not to say we're gonna give up America or we hate America. That's not true. Black people, America built this country. We're not going to give up America, but we do have a right to our ancestral homeland. Why can't anybody see that?
No, no,
Just let people
but
settle and
people
build what they want to build in their ancestral homeland.
yeah, but people are asking you to come to that ancestral homeland. Even Ghana gave you a year of return, and the whole of Sierra Leone, Liberia, they are rolling out the red carpet for you guys. So if you want to come, come, and if you don't want to come, stay where you are. The window
Yeah,
of
hold on. My
Yeah, they
whole
have
thing
no.
about that I have no pro.
Yeah,
I have no
they
pro.
have no excuse.
I have no problem with that. But these people are not going there they just going there to flash their passport and come back to America saying I got a Sierra Leone passport. They're not helping the Sierra Leoneans,
Yeah, but
and they're not helping the Ghanaians either.
it doesn't really matter.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
doesn't really matter if they come to Sierra Leone, then they are bringing that dollar into the Sierra Leonean economy, which adds to that economy, and depending on their experience, they will repeat.
But that's
Yeah,
fine.
so it
Uh,
doesn't matter if they want to get a Sierra Leone.
I have friends of mine. We have members of the Beat My organization that bought land. They spend tens of thousands of dollars every time they go to Sierra Leone. Yeah, it works out. We understand that. We always like contribute to Africa when we go. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I mean,
There's nothing wrong with
question to
basically you going
Carla.
to Sierra Leone, buying property, investing in business, and
Question to
everything.
Carla.
Yeah.
Afghanistan is the dream of having the Afghanistan state is still feasible. Should we still be hopeful of the Afghanistan
Yes.
state?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Why?
Yeah, the idea right now, I don't see it any other way. The why? Because first of all, you have a whole continent of what 1.1 billion people, right? And the problem, like I said the other day on Kaiser's show, is you got all these people and all these people trying to govern a whole entire continent, right, all over the place. China has more people in the African continent with like not even 20% of the landmass, but they got one political party making all decisions for that many people. So what I'm saying is that you have an African state, right, that basically can bring the diaspora there and some the intelligentsia from around Africa and around the world to basically be the state of the go-to state. Hey, right now there's no coordinated state. There's always been a capital state. Bali was a capital state of the Mali Empire, and it's always got Russia was the Soviet Union. Africa should be united. And the thing that should unite Africa is you have to include the diaspora, and you have to create a separate territory and build settlements and build cities and smart cities for people to come from the diaspora and people come from different parts of Africa to live and whatnot, and they're going to be plugged into their homelands and everything like that. That's how Africa. That's how you're going to change the trajectory. Then what you'll see is Africa, instead of Africa being tethered to Europe and France and the UK and all those other people, they'll have that one particular state to basically be the centralized voice of the whole entire black world. And that's what I believe. That's the only way that's gonna we're gonna save this continent. Right now, you got wars brewing in Central African Republic, the Congo. You got all the kind of nefarious people and everything.
But
And we don't do this
yeah,
and
but
everything.
Carla, but
People don't agree that we need that one state.
yeah, but Carla, the Ghanaian president gave you guys a land over there. Is the time for for the blacks to demonstrate that
What land?
the Asebu land,
What
the
land?
Asebu land,
What?
Asebu, the one
Oh,
in the
that's a joke, man. Yo,
it's not a
tune
joke.
into the
I mean,
show. Yo,
people
tune
have
into
gone there
Bomani's
to
show
build
tonight.
to establish
Yo,
homes
yo,
over
yo,
there.
yo, tune into Bomani's show tonight. We're gonna talk about that farce called a Sabo. It's a joke. Come on. They have no infrastructure. Right? Look, if you can't build infrastructure, create a tax base, and have a municipality and everything, there's no Pan African municipalities on the continent, right? You know what a municipality is? The right
Yeah,
to
but I mean,
to rate to collect taxes, property
yeah,
taxes, taxes.
but Carla, all you need is a land,
So you
right?
got free land,
If you have
but
the land,
it has no it's
you
self
build your
government.
own
Yeah,
infrastructure.
but a land means nothing without infrastructure. Yeah, but they're not building infrastructure.
But
How you gonna build infrastructure with no tax base?
you got to come from where? You come from the west. You can use your influence
The
from the
people are
western
stable. I know they're not.
societies to build it.
But what we have to have is to be able to build our industrial parks, our industrial zones, and stuff like major infrastructure. That should take partnership with a host government and everything like that to build an initial
Yeah,
infrastructure.
but
Now, maybe Ghana, if Ghana did not have the money to do that, a country like Angola does have the money, and they say, yeah, if you do build over here, we can provide the infrastructure for you guys to build this African. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but
local
I mean,
government
Makala, you say if you
told
have
me.
the
They say, yeah, we can do that.
if you say you have the intelligentsia, they come, they have all the human capital. I mean, all you gotta do is use your
But
leverage your
still,
power.
you still need government
Yeah,
policy. Everything like
that
when
is
you
part.
go to any African country, right? What do the people say? Who's in charge? Who's in charge? Who's in charge?
Yeah. I mean,
That's why in Africa,
there's a whole
political
diaspora office.
politicians in
There's a
Africa
policy in place.
probably
There's a whole diaspora
that's a joke,
office.
man. Come on.
Oh
So stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with diaspora office. Come on, stop. Just stop it.
Kala,
Just
are
stop
you
it,
now
man.
investing this
You
now?
gotta
I
stop
thought you.
playing games, man. A diaspora. These guys are clowns, man. You man, no, don't. That's why I said. Maybe why I said stop associating with these clowns. A diaspora office. That's a joke. A bunch of people sitting around with no money, no nothing. When I talk about we need this, they ain't got 2 times to rub
But
together.
Makala,
No
Makala,
budget, no
if you
nothing.
had a
A
land,
diaspora
if
office.
those government give you a land, how can you build your own Afghanistan then?
You have to have power. You have to have power. You have to have government policy. First of all, this is what the diaspora
Yeah,
brings to the
I
table:
mean,
a
hold
tax
on,
base.
Kala. When
And
most
so if I was Ghana, right, I would have invested. I would have instead of you think the trips Naidu takes to America, I calculated he probably spends like a few $1 million a year on air travel alone, right? He could have gave that money, same money to a stable and say, yo, let's build power systems, water systems, sewer systems, and everything like this. Let's build a micro airport. Let's build a rail line connecting to the ports, whatever like this. And let's get this place popping and whatnot. Why? Because people come, they'll have real estate, they'll have industrial parks, they'll invest in everything. They'll have jobs, and we could tax the motherfucker out of them. And the Ghana will make so much money just on taxing the people
yeah,
that's productive
yeah,
there.
but Kala,
But the
I don't
African
think.
mind doesn't think like that.
Yeah, but I don't think you need existing infrastructure to build a whole Afghanistan. Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, coming to what I don't.
Yeah,
Kala,
you
You
need
know
to
what,
go.
can
Kala?
I make my can I make my point?
You know what, Kala? I think you're just better off staying where you are, since you detest it so much. Maybe stay where you are.
Oh, just because somebody don't
Building those.
just because somebody don't agree with you. That's what the
No,
problem is.
no.
That's what the problem is. And also, when we talk about Pan Africanism, there's gonna be things I say you ain't
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
like.
Kala
You gotta
has
get
a
used to that. You can't just say just stay where you are because you don't agree with what I say. No, we don't kiss ass.
No, no,
It's
no.
like Africa doesn't belong
Saying
to
if you
you.
yeah.
find
It
Africa
belongs to
so
all of
Kala,
us.
disagreeable and you find the people so back,
No,
then
no, I'm just saying. No, I'm saying meet us halfway. This is what I want to say. This is what negotiations is all about. Meet us freaking halfway.
yeah. One man.
You guys don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Just come over here. Come over. I've seen so many people
But
go to
why do we have
Africa
to
and
meet you
lose
halfway?
money and come back to America broke.
yeah. Kala, one man.
Hold on, let me say this, man.
Oh
When the
no,
Chinese,
Mike. What
Kala,
is
let me
Mike
when
make
the,
my
doing here?
opinion. Kala,
I come
What is
to
Mike? I got a bone to pick with Mike. I got a bone to pick with Mike.
I come to discuss your
I got a
point
bone
with
to
the
pick with
sky
Mike today. Go
bullshit they
ahead, Mike.
always preach. When the Chinese man come to Africa,
See what I'm talking about?
they don't wait. When the Lebanese man, when the
The
European,
Chinese are
everybody come
backed
to
up by their
Africa.
government.
Hold on,
The
can
Chinese
somebody
and all the
talk?
Europeans are
This guy,
backed up.
man.
They got diplomatic channels.
Just like one man told you, just because you talk the most doesn't mean you'll be, you prove the every point you're right, Allow others to talk too. When the Chinese man come to Africa, he doesn't complain. He just does what he has to do. And you will see, we all see it. The Lebanese man come, he does what he has to do. Everybody else go, they do what. When you go there, you criticize, oh, you let the Chinese in, but you're the only one complaining. Before they invited you, you say, oh, the Africans, they invite us. They need to roll red carpet for us. The Ghanaians roll the red carpet for you. You came, you complain. Oh, they didn't give us land. Oh, now they gave you land. You're still complaining. Bros, just stay where you are, man. Just stay where you are.
All right, can I? Yeah,
What
Mike,
do you
Mike,
want? They have to
Mike,
do
Mike,
this
Mike, Mike,
everything for
Mike,
you before,
Mike, Mike,
bros. I
Mike.
told,
That
like
was
I
very
told you
Mike,
before, I'd rather
Mike.
have
That
the
was a good
Chinese man,
filibuster.
bros. I'd rather do a year return for the Chinese if I do it for
I'm
you.
sure you
I'm
would.
for you
I'm
to be
sure you would.
honest,
I'm sure you would.
because we know when the
Mike,
Chinese
Mike,
come,
Mike,
they're gonna
Mike,
do.
Mike,
Listen.
Mike.
They're gonna be more productive than you. They're gonna be more productive. They're not gonna complain. They're not gonna give me a headache. So
Well,
I
right now,
Nigeria bring
right
your
now,
return.
yo,
Listen.
Yeah,
I'm not going to hear me for the Chinese.
Let,
yeah,
let him get it. Let him respond now.
You're not going to have
yeah,
any value to Africa.
Mike, let him respond.
You're not going to add any value to Africa, so just stay where you are.
Can I get a word?
Let him talk now. Please,
right now, check this out. Right now in Ghana, right now, there's a Chinaman up there that was given cheapency, and he's raping the country with gold and taking gold out, taking lumber, taking everything out. When we don't have no intention of ever exploiting our mother continent.
Really?
So we have to think
There's
the
no criminal
Chinese are
among
doing.
you?
No. There's never been any black people in America that went to Africa and
You're out of
exploited the
your
people.
mind. You're out of your mind. If you're trying to
Oh,
tell me. Wait, hold on. Give me a second. Who's moderating? Guys, can you moderate this? I just came in.
Exploiting Africa.
Just hold on. Hold on 1 minute, please. Hold on. Let me just say something, right? You both made your points.
No,
right?
I haven't made a point. Let me make my point.
You made a lot of points.
No, I just came in. You've been here.
I know you just came in, but you.
Okay, let me.
Mike, you made your point. Now be quiet. You said a lot. Mike, you said a lot.
Please hold on, sir. Please.
No. He addressed me. Let me respond to him.
Mike, let the guy talk, Mike.
No, Pansa, I'm not going to let you talk. No, you relax. Let me
relax
talk.
Because
no, you let me talk.
You've talked more than I've talked, and I've been here over an hour, right? So hold
on.
Get
lost, man.
Here's what I'm going to say to you, okay? You came in here, you're disruptive, and you're noisy, Mike. Right? And then
okay, thank you. But anyway, Kala, let me respond to you.
Hold on.
The fact of the matter is this: you can't play that semantic. One individual Chinese man as a criminal. You wanna convince me that all Chinese that come to Africa are there to steal gold?
Right?
And you're telling me that there's no individual Black American that's a criminal that can come there and do the same thing.
Insulting Black
Every human
being. No, we're not like that.
No.
We're not like that. We're better.
No.
We're not like that. You won't find none of us.
You do it on your own, right?
I didn't say you are like that. Neither are the Chinese like that.
You're not
individuals can commit crime. So you can't point at an individual that commit crime trying to generalize the entire people.
Mike,
you can't try to see and convince me. I'm not Pansa. Pansa is a dummy. You can convince. You can't tell me that one individual Chinese man was stealing gold. Now that means that we chase all Chinese out. All Chinese are there to steal gold.
He is afraid. He's afraid
every individual.
Fellow Africans, he's afraid to compete with Black Americans.
Pansa,
right?
Pansa, don't come here and try to claim you're a Pan-African. We all know you're a tribal bigot, so don't come here.
Bandwagon with the Chinese, right? Because he
cannot. No, I'm not bandwagon with anybody. I see. Listen, the point I'm making is individuals are individuals.
Bandwagons with the Fulanis because
people. Now you hate the Fulanis.
So right now he wants to invoke his Chinese.
No, what I'm trying to tell you is that people are people.
American,
no one is insulting anybody
in America, and he's
also can you control this?
This is the United States.
You're not making sense. You're not making sense. What's your point, Pansa? Pansa, what is the point you're making?
My point is this: I want a structured argument. You made a debate. You insulted him,
but you're not making sense. Okay, tell me why you insulted him.
Hold on, please. Hold on. I actually gained nothing from all the banter and all the noise.
You don't make any sense, man. You don't make sense.
Over an hour, but when you came in, I know that you were someone to come in here to make him uncomfortable because he's from the United States and it's one of our people. But you want to use the Chinese. You want to use the Chinese to insult him. So, but you
What's
can't.
This guy talking about?
I don't feel bad because I know he's.
Can you do me a favor and make sense, please?
The guy is smarter than you.
Okay.
And he's gonna show it as I exit this stage, but you have to knock off this nonsense you do all the time. You have to have
really. You know, I learned that from you.
I could see people in London and Britain who don't know much about Black Americans, right? Disrespecting them, but you know better. You're here.
Who mentioned Black Americans?
You know the contribution these people made. Even for
what you are saying is not relevant to what we're talking about.
What you're doing is you are having peer pressure from British people.
No, you're one of those dummies that like to kiss ass.
You're kissing ass. British people have no respect for Black Americans and Mexicans. You go. When I go to London, you see
who cares? Who cares?
The way they talk about Mexicans because they don't know.
Who cares? Who cares about what British man thinks?
Black Americans. These are our people who we're actually going to need to have that. Continent emancipated. You come on here with ignorance and big mouth, right? And I've seen you. It's a small.
Pansa, we all know you, man. Come on, you don't even have the moral right to be talking here, man.
The part of an make him keep it
Okay,
smart.
can we, Kaiser, are you
So
moderating this? Can
I'm
we get
leaving
into
because
real? Can me
can't
and Kala
stand
get into conversation and get this pastor out of here?
I can't stand this son of a bitch.
Kaiser or one man, can you get pastor so me and Kala can get into our discussion? So I can address my. Thank you very much. All right, no, Kala, don't run now because I know you always run when it's time for me and you to talk. You are coming here.
No. You
trying to
run,
play.
Mike.
Trying
You
to play the
Mike,
usual.
Mike,
Hold on now. Okay, go ahead.
if you
I'll
get
let you go. Go.
if you get
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the
Talk.
first of all, get the bush meat out your mouth.
Now we're going to
Get the
bush
bush meat
meat.
out, man.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying,
All
this,
right.
Mike. And I'm gonna apologize to you, Mike, for all the black people that did you wrong in America, right? When you came here and everything like that. But
Bro, what are you talking about? Let's stick to
things
the
like,
point we are making here.
hold on,
Let's
you
stick
have
to the point.
a lot of things. So hold on, let me
No, I don't have the issue. I never.
preamble we're
What is
talking
this
about, right?
based on?
You always do, man. So like I said, things like body odor, deodorant, style. If you wear black clothes back in the days, your haircut's jacked up. People gonna find
Bro. Let's
things like
let's try to
we all
talk
go
to
through it,
the
man.
topic.
Yeah. All right, so about the topic today.
Okay.
Today. About black people going to the thing. You made a point about the Chinese, everybody else. The Chinese, basically, and all these other people are organized to the point. Nobody in America, show me any government in America that says we got billions of dollars for you black people in America to invest in Africa. Yeah, we can make mistakes like the Chinese do. But everything we do is out of our own pocket, no government funds, anything like that. So it has to be done a certain way. We can't just go to
I
Africa and say,
actually
"Oh yeah,
let me
we don't
respond to
have
that
that
real quick
sort of
before you.
thing." Because America,
Most of the Chinese men.
let me
Hold
say
on
this.
now.
Listen, America does not give a rat's ass about Africa. Until you guys understand that,
Well,
right?
no one gives a right about
America
anybody,
is
man.
giving
Let's get that straight.
$100 billion. America
You
is
don't give
giving
a right about
$100
Africans
to
either, man. So
Ukraine
don't try to make it
right
look
now,
like
right?
it's something that's just.
America doesn't give
Don't
it
try to play that, man.
so
No
why?
one gives a right about anybody.
Like,
The
so
other people.
America has not been educated. America does not see Africa as the future. Does see the problem. So they're not going to invest in us going to Africa like the Chinese. Chinese see something in Africa. Russians see something in Africa. And other people see America, the United States,
Kala, what is your
don't
point?
give a damn
Tell me
about
Yeah,
what your
Africa. They
point was,
care
because I
about
don't know.
I
You're
don't
Ukraine.
just talking all
understand.
over the place, man.
My point is that we can't be compete with the Chinese. We need the African
You can't.
government
What?
to
I can't hear you.
recognize
Can you
that
get closer?
and say
Because you're
we
not clear. Get closer to your phone, or you're not very clear. It's hard to hear you, man.
look. What I'm trying to say is you can't compare us to the Chinese, the Lebanese, all the other people because they got governments backing them. We don't have a government backing us in Africa. That's the
Well, how do you know that? How do you know that?
difference.
How do you know that? Are you saying? Hold
Because
on.
we
Let me ask. Are
know.
you saying? Wait. Hold on.
We know.
Are you
Nobody.
saying? Wait now. Can I ask you the question so I can be sure what you're talking about, man? So that way we can make trying to have a constructive conversation. Are you saying
What?
every Chinese person, every Chinese individual is backed financially by his government?
No, that's not true.
Well, you're backed by institutions that are backed by the government.
Yeah.
For the
We
most part.
understand some institution, but
Let me
not all.
give you for example what I'm talking about, right?
And
Oh,
for those of us that live in
Mike,
Africa,
let
we
me
can
say,
categorically tell you
Mike,
that
let
most
me tell you,
Chinese.
how, Mike,
Kala, you gotta allow us to
Mike,
respond,
let me
man.
tell you how it
Kala,
works.
You wanna do all the talking.
Mike, let me,
Kala, can I make a statement?
once I finish
Let me make a statement.
hold on, once I finish what I'm saying, hold on, first what he says, let me tell you how it works, right? The Chinese government will have a broker a major deal, like in Zambia, right? Zambia is a perfect example, right? Zambia's looking around. How do all these Chinese getting all these side contracts with construction and everything like this? First of all, they strike a major deal with a major Chinese firm, right? A Chinese company with the government, right?
Yeah, we
And then
understand that
just like the
exists. We
Japanese did when they
understand that
brought the
part.
auto
Yeah.
industry here, they brought people people follow in. People follow in. They have major companies that the high level everything they come in. It's when you see Zambia. Why a Chinaman in Zambia growing chicken? People are like why the China? They left their China rural area, learn how to farm, grow chickens, and then Zambia selling Zambia their own chickens. And Zambia, how did you get here? They came on a wave of Chinese
But why
and
do you
came
have
with them.
problem with that? Did they come to the
Chinese
country
want
legally?
when they bring people in.
Kala, did they come to the country legally?
They don't care. They don't. See, you understand
No.
something.
The
The
question I
Zambians like
ask you, did
we
they
don't
come
want you
to the
here.
country
We can do
illegally?
this ourselves.
What do
Yeah,
you? What do you?
They
What do you
can't
mean we
do
can do it ourselves? Do
coercion.
what ourselves?
yeah, but okay, but I mean, but Kala, you were given
They can't
land. Hold
coercion.
on, Kala. Let,
In other words,
let me
Carla, they
let me
gave you land. He didn't do anything. Now you mad at
yeah.
the Chinese man? He's just doing his own thing. Come on,
hold
man.
on,
They gave you
Mike.
land. You couldn't do it. Now you're telling us
No,
to chase
I'm
the
not
Chinese
saying.
away.
No,
They're
I'm
doing
not
his
saying.
own thing.
No,
They didn't give the Chinese man land. He
don't
came
tell
by
me about
with his
enslavement because I
$1
have
and he
nothing to do
started
with
his
that shit.
business and he's doing well. Leave him alone, man.
But
Why do you hate him? Why
the
you so racist, man?
the Chinese, the China. No, no. What I'm saying is this:
Carla, you know the
now the
difference. We
Chinese
Africans,
have
we don't we
street
don't we don't
signs
do
with
racism,
the
man. Just don't
Chinese
try to
things
teach us
there.
racism.
You
Don't
know,
try to teach us racism. If you're an individual
okay,
Chinese man trying
that's
to
why
make a
you're gonna be a
living,
slave.
listen.
They
If
say
you're
that
individual,
you say
Carla, hold on, can I talk?
you'll never see you. If I tell you one thing,
Carla, can I talk, please?
the day you see a Nigerian oil company off the coast of China, then I'll say that.
No, okay. Can I respond? Can I respond? Can I respond?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Actually, if you go to China, you will see Nigerians
Go
there
ahead.
doing business. If you go to China, you will see Nigerians there doing business. The same way the Chinese man come to Nigeria to do business.
What
Human
kind
beings.
of business?
Yeah,
Wait,
he
can
mean,
we
What
talk,
kind of
please?
business?
God, bro,
What
this
kind of
guy.
business?
Can you allow people to talk?
What
This
business?
man, we can't even say anything. You think you have monopoly of knowledge or what? What the God
Go
allow
ahead.
people to talk, man? God damn. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is the world has become a global village. Everybody want to make a living. Everybody want to survive, and government exists, embassies exist, and people apply for visa to go to different countries. And if they go according to the rules and they are given visa to go there and do what they're doing, let them do it. Why should I have to hate somebody? Why should I have to be racist towards people? In China, there are Nigerians that got visa. They are doing their business, making a living. I know Nigerians that became a millionaire in China. I know that everyone is doing things. Chinese man comes to Africa to do his business. If they are doing it illegally, then let's go call the police and arrest them. We don't need to come on here and be preaching racism, telling me I have to hate the Chinese man
Look,
because
I
he's
have
doing
no
making a living.
Mike, Mike. I have no problem with that. I have absolutely no
No,
problem
all you
with
do is
people like
preach
that.
racism. You're
But
here
just a
talking
couple of years ago, the
anti-Chinese. What
Chinese.
the hell? What has the
Oh,
Chinese man done for you, man?
All right. Well, let me ask you a question, Mike. Like 12 years ago, right? The Chinese came to Ogun State in Nigeria, and they tried to
Which
build a
Chinese?
China
What's his name?
city
Which
or
Chinese? You can't just say
like that,
Chinese. There are 1 billion
and they
Chinese
were
people.
basically listen, look, mainland Chinese, and they built like a
Yeah.
China thing like that. Then they were basically doing fabricating Nigerian fabrics and everything, like duplicating like, fabrics and damaging Nigerian textile industry. And Nigeria said, "Hell, freaking no," and kicked them the fuck out. You know, all those Chinese businesses
Okay, they
shut
did
down
something
because
illegal,
they
right?
came there. So you should
So are you
say,
saying they did something illegal?
no, well, no, it wasn't illegal. It wasn't illegal. It's
It wasn't
unethical.
illegal.
You don't have to be illegal to be unethical.
yeah, but I
Why
mean,
did Nigerian government
by
shut
Kala,
them down?
Kala,
They were
usually,
making carbon. They were making textiles,
What is your business?
imitating
If they're doing
Chinese
something
fabric,
that's not
Nigerian
illegal, why are
fabric.
you mad at them?
but Mike, hold on. See,
Well, no, well, you ask your own government.
Kala,
Then
Kala, hold,
you guys kicked them
If
out.
what they're doing is legal, why are you upset?
yeah, but Mike, but I mean, but
Hold.
I mean, Kala, come on, can I make a point? I mean, generally, if even if the Chinese do any illegal stuff in these African countries, it's usually their own people encouraging them to do that, right? There's always someone
And
who's
it's
on
the
the
job of the
inside.
police to arrest
Well,
them.
I have given Nigerians
Exactly, yeah,
respect because
exactly.
It's
So
not
I
job
mean,
of
they
Kala to
said
come teach us how
Nigerians said,
to.
"Hell no."
we shouldn't be
Kala,
blaming
you're
them
not the
outside.
police, man. Let the police do
Yeah,
their job, okay?
we shouldn't be blaming
Well, let
outsiders.
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a
Yeah, I want
question.
to make a stand.
In Senegal,
I want to make a stand. I don't want to be hopping from countries to countries.
in Senegal, a couple of years ago, the, the Chinese were basically taking African crafts, sending it back to China, duplicating and whatnot, and flooding, setting the market with setting it like, wait a minute, we make real good stuff here. And then when we got to Nigeria, they said, look, like Chinese and China afraid to just take our product, they send it back to China, copy and whatnot. And they had Nigerian bootleg fabrics that Nigerian women wear, stuff like this, and everything. And Nigeria said, hell no, they shut that shit down.
yeah, but I
You know, and I
mean,
applaud the
Okay, fine,
Nigerians for
fine.
that.
yeah, but
But
Mike, hold
according
on,
to Mike,
Mike,
you was like, oh yeah,
Mike, hold on.
we're making money. We're making money.
Hold on, let me say something. I mean, why, Kyla, why are you too much infatuated with the Chinese? I mean, let me give you a practical example, right? Because in America, they also make tons of money from Africa, but most of the money that they make is not visible commodities that we can see. Ghana, for instance, we know Ghana
Oh
have
really?
an oil and gas industry that generates over billions of billion US dollar a year. Guess which companies
No,
now? Hold on.
just
Guess,
1 billion a year.
yeah. I mean, no, because I mean, operation is just in a small fields. Over time is going to extend to the the reservoirs across the
Oh, we hope. We can hope.
currently they're operating offshore. There's oil onshore as well. I mean, the point I'm trying to say is that they make an amount close to $1 billion a year, and most of these companies making the benefit are mostly American and European companies. I mean, are you not complaining when America tried to establish the base in Ghana? Guess what? What was the motive behind that? Protect Ghana or protect the uh, capitalistic corporations in those countries?
Zungu. Kala is not here to represent America. He's just here to represent his black power structure. That's what he's doing. So forget
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say to him, right?
yeah. I mean,
The problem with Kala is this, and this is the same thing he does in America. You spend all his energy worrying about the Mexican man that's minding his business and the Chinese man that's hustling, trying to convince every black person that that's what they should be worrying about. Whereas the person that's ready to blow your head off on the corner is his own brother, his own black brother. You know, he himself will not live in a black neighborhood. He don't want to work in
Mike,
a Spanish neighborhood.
stop.
But you be trying to tell me that those people are
Mike,
you be trying to convince me here in America that the white man and the Chinese man, the other people are thinking about, when you and I cannot live among your black people.
Mike, I'm just
You and I, the moment you make money, you run away from black neighborhood, you run straight to Chinese neighborhood and white neighborhood. But then you spend all your energy coming here to convince me that
I'm just telling you, be
I have to wake up in the morning and be scared of Chinese.
be smarter than your elbow.
No. You're not
Nobody's telling you. Look. I live in a country. Well, I got
about Chinese man and white man. I don't want to hear that shit.
Whatever,
Man.
like
Come
this, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's all about business and everything. And first of all, like I said, the business associates I have whatnot is not because they're black, white, Chinese. It's because I built relations with. As black people I've been in business with, I didn't work. As white people I'm in business with now, didn't work. Asians,
So why are you always talking about color, man? The race.
So don't
Why you always
simplify
talking
what
about
I'm
race?
saying to this. No. I'm talking about when we talk about nation building and protecting
Which
what's
nation?
yours and everything. It
Nation.
bothers me, Mike. Mike, it bothers me. Hold on, Mike. Listen to this for a
Okay,
second.
tell me about this
Let
nation
me
you're
reach
talking
you
about.
to a
Tell
higher
me.
level, you know?
What is this
Hold on,
nation you're
Mike.
talking about?
Mike, let me hold on, Mike. The Queen of England, the royal family, still sucks oil out of your native land and whatnot, like someone sucking a Slurpee through a straw, and they give you pennies for it. You know why is the
Really?
British?
And how do you know that? How do you know that? Do you have the
Hold
documents to
on,
prove that?
hold on.
Okay,
Why is it
let's admit that
you
that's the
guys,
case.
most coward black people on the planet, the Nigerians, right? Hold on. Burkini Faso, this young guy just took all the friggin' shit away from the France and whatnot, and so we're gonna friggin' grow our own shit. We're gonna do this stuff like that, and I dare you to do anything about it. Ibram
Okay,
Traore and
cool.
Burkini
Can I
Faso,
respond to
but
that?
big ass
Can I respond to
Nigeria
that?
and too scared, man. Big ass Nigeria too scared to friggin' nationalize oil industries and whatnot. You know, you got nothing to talk
fine.
about.
Can I respond? Can I respond, please? Okay, fine.
Go ahead.
Okay, fine. So let's assume that what you're saying is true. The British, the royal family or the government, whatever, they are taking advantage of weaker or less powerful country. That is normal. That's called
The
power.
big ass Nigeria.
Wait now.
Big ass Nigeria.
Can you allow me to talk,
200,
please?
200. It's
Can
200
you allow me
million of
to?
you niggas.
These guys. Oh my God, man. Can you give me a chance, please? Just let me respond.
Go ahead, man.
It's called power. From the beginning of time, even empires in Africa, they're struggling another empire. Yes, they do the same thing to them. It's called power. When you're in a more powerful position, yes, you take advantage of the weaker power. Now, does it have to do with race? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It just has to do with one powerful government taking advantage of a weaker government. It doesn't mean. Hold on. Does it mean? Wait now. Wait. Allow me to land. Allow me to land. Can you allow me to land, please? Does it now mean? Oh, it's become a black and white issue now. It's a white man that's doing it. Another black man. Listen.
Hold on, everybody. Sorry, Mike. 1 second. So to the conversation. You have to understand that you have an audience listening to you. So if you have voices cascading over each other, it's not a pleasant listening experience. So just let him land, and then you pass it over, and then just pass it round.
But when you're jacking your story, man, that's his nature. He never allows someone to talk. That's his way he is. I've known Kala for years. The deal is, throughout, that's nature. That's been like that from the beginning of time. Powerful nations, of course, will take advantage of the weaker nation. That's just natural. Yes, powerful empires in Africa took advantage of weaker empires. Powerful country in Europe take advantage of the weaker power. You can see the example playing out right now. Russia is bullying Ukraine. We see that going on. Does it have to do with race? No. It's just have to do with power. That's what power is about.
Yeah.
Even in the jungle, the powerful animals they bully the younger. It's not so. Don't come here trying to convince us that now because of that.
Yo, let me ask you a
Wait,
question.
wait. Can you
Ask
let me
that.
land, please? Don't try to tell me because of that. I have to see. Oh, it's a black and white. I have to. Hey, white man. Every white man see. Oh, it's my problem. I have to come and build come unite with you. I have to trust you because you're black. No, I don't trust you because you're black.
Yo, Mike,
I have to
Mike,
get to know you as an individual before I can trust you. There's no such thing as I'm uniting with you because you're black. You can be worse than even a white person. So I don't believe that race story that you come here to trying to convince us about
yeah,
Chinese
Mike,
man,
Mike,
white man. I don't believe that shit. Go ahead.
Mike. I've been listening to Kala for a while now. Even when I was in a different country before coming to the U.S. Right? I mean, we've heard it countless times. Kala wanted to bring an African stand. The Ghanaian president came. He invited you guys. He gave you a free land. A free land. Even Malcolm X was preaching they wanted to have their own land, independence. You have it now. Build the infrastructure to your own desires.
That's not independent. That's
Oh,
not.
come on,
Come
Kala.
on,
Come
It's
on.
not
Zongo,
going to be
stop it.
enough
You
now.
can
Zongo, stop it. That
you can
Sable,
leverage.
You
You
have to
A
can
put whatever
Sable is
leverage.
a
package in
joke.
place.
That's a freaking joke, man.
You can
And
leverage.
that is a joke. That is a
You
freaking
can
joke.
leverage.
That place is dusty as hell. They got no infrastructure. They have no power. They don't even have a. Ask who's in charge of it.
But is
Nobody.
that not what you've been preaching that you
It's
come
a
into
bunch
Africa
of dusty
to
black
build
people.
Africa for us? Now they give you land. Go build it. Go build it. You've
Well,
been
like I
preaching
said,
to us
we're,
for
we're
years,
doing
Kala.
something. We're
Kala.
doing something better. We got. Hold on, we got acres over there. We got acres over there in Ghana. Bomani and I, and whatnot, our group, whatnot, called the Black Star Pan
Bomani is
African
a
Group. We
scammer,
got,
man. We all know
and
Bomani is
that's
a
going to be the
scammer.
real model.
That guy is
So
a
we're
scammer.
actually
We
building
don't want to hear
infrastructure
that
there.
guy, man.
We're actually building infrastructure.
At
So
the end of the
Bomani's
day,
not a
you guys only
scammer or
come to
whatnot.
scam
You
your
show
fellow
me
little
anywhere
diasporas. That's
we
all.
scammed anybody.
Yeah.
Well, no. We don't scam anybody.
Yeah, but
Bomani's a scam. Everybody that has done business with him, he just brought his group back from Tanzania when they been doing business for 20 years, and no one's ever said it's scam. So you can't just put all African American scammers. Bomani, the man that works 7 days a week around the clock. That's the hardest working man I've known in my
yeah.
life.
I mean, but
He's
Bomani
real
have been accused of
thorough
scamming
with his
people before,
business.
so I know that for a fact. Man.
yeah, I mean, but Kala, I mean, you
Yeah, people
no,
can
but hold.
prove anything
I
online,
mean,
but let these people come forward with proof.
Kala,
Listen, are
Kala.
you
I
saying
mean,
Bomani is building Ghana for Ghana?
Mike, Mike. See,
No, we don't. We're building a plan. We're building a black community for the
You're doing
diaspora
business.
and
That's
some
all. You're
Ghanaians
doing
that want to
business.
live.
Just do
I
business.
mean,
Don't
that's
need to be
what the
calling it
community
black.
first phase done.
yeah.
Well, that's you, Mike,
So they
because
don't
you're
already
white
have
and
black. They don't have
you're
black
black on
communities
the
in Ghana
outside,
already.
white on the inside.
Kala, let me ask you this. So they don't already have black communities in Ghana? Is that what you're
They,
saying?
they have it. They have it. They have
You're
it.
going to Ghana
Well,
to
that's
build
what we're
black
talking about.
communities.
A Pan African minded. We're Pan African minded people. A Pan African
You're
minded
going to
people.
Ghana to build
People
a
that
black
are
community.
just like you have people that different
African
culture.
man.
Don't you guys have different cultures and everything, a different way of doing things, organization and stuff like that. This is how we
That's why you were
control
given the
ourselves. We can protect
land.
us. We build
You
our
give a
clinics,
land.
everything like
It's
this.
just only the
Well,
the
stop
black land.
talking
Just only the
about
black
that.
American
Stop
land.
talking about those people in Sable. And hold on. A Sable is not the freaking anything to do with Black America. Whatever that was. We're
Listen,
not part of a Sable.
yeah, but it's a black America. It's meant for black America. I mean, the Hebrew Israelites.
But I no. Not only that,
The,
not only that. You got people coming from Cameroon. That's in the Sable.
oh
You got
no
people
no
coming from
no!
Jamaica. You got
It's,
people
it's
coming
it's
from
mostly the
all over and whatnot.
yeah no
And
no
most
no
of the
no
people in the Sable are not Black
no
African American.
no. The Hebrew Israelites from the U.S. are the ones establishing their houses over there. In Ghanaians in diaspora, they
Well,
don't
yeah,
want to go
Hebrew
to a
Israelites.
Sable.
How many Black people in America? How many Black people in America are Hebrew Israelites?
Quite a number of
Not even 1 million of a percent.
I mean, but
Kala wants to
What are
make
you talking
you
about?
a
I know
black
my
country
people.
to build a black
Nobody in America knows
I
what
mean,
what
Mike,
Israel is.
but I mean, Mike. I mean, it seems like the blacks you can't even satisfy their wants. You know,
Forget it, man. You can never satisfy them. Trust me.
you
They're
wanted
gonna
the
complain
land.
and complain and complain.
You've been given the land, and now you need a tax base. The people got to come in
Well,
to have their own tax
you
base.
create that. Well,
There has to be
like
a
I said, if you're not
settlement.
going to build, if you're
It's
not
all
going,
good. Trust me. I've been
if
around
you're
people
not
like
going to
Kala for
build, if you're not going
years.
to build,
Yeah, but
All they
if
but it
you're
do
has
not
to
is
going to
be.
build, if
talk.
you're not going to build it right,
Yeah,
if
but it
you're
has
not
to
going
be
to
a.
build it right,
Yeah, but Kala,
don't build
Kala,
it all.
hold on. Kala, you need a
So
settlement.
no, how you
You
gonna
need.
build? How you gonna build something if it's not a municipality?
Hold on, Kala. You
Let me
need a
ask you a question.
settlement.
Who controls the?
Oh,
Is there the police departments? What?
what you mean? I'm sorry. Say it again.
Are you guys being seriously trolling? Are you guys trolling or are you
No,
guys being?
nobody's trolling.
Kala,
You
tell us
know.
who controls the
Come on, because I
police
got other
department in
things to
Ghana.
do.
Kala, tell us who controls the police
If I
department.
tell, okay,
The Chinese,
Zago,
the Chinese. Don't
let
please
me ask you a
don't tell
question.
me
Let me
the
ask you a
Chinese.
question, Mike. Don't it for see
You're asking too
now you
many
guys are
questions. You're just
trolling. You
jumping
know, I
from
don't
one
have time
point
for
to one
trolling,
place to
right?
another,
A
man. Can
serious
you stick to one point?
if you guys have a serious conversation, hold on. If you have a serious conversation, I have a serious conversation. You ask a question about you have land, but if it's not a municipality where you basically can actually develop it like a county or city or a town or something like that, where you have a council where you make laws, rules, and stuff like that,
You
regulations,
can, you
raise
can, you
taxes,
can.
have public
Hold on,
partnership.
Kala.
No, it's not set up
Hold on,
like that.
Kala. You can
Don't they already
eventually.
have those things in
Hold on.
Ghana? I
You
mean, what are you
know all the
talking about?
people in
Oh, can I explain that to you first, Kala?
stable. They're raggedy. It's
But
raggedy.
hold on, Kala. But
They're
eventually,
raggedy.
those land is gonna develop into a county or municipality in that local area.
Oh yeah. Really, really. How you going to develop a county when you have a chief, a dusty ass chief, still collecting money from people and that? You know, a chief,
No, the
the
chief.
chief, or the chief, whatnot.
No,
Now you're calling
No,
their
we're
chiefs
talking about
dusty. You
government.
see?
no. They want development. They give you the
Now you're
land.
insulting their chiefs.
They don't want to give it to no Chinese, so
They
they give
welcome
it
you
to
to their
you.
So
country. They
how you
wrote a
gonna
record
develop?
there for you. Now
How you
you're
gonna
calling their
develop?
chiefs
How you
dusty.
gonna
Now
now?
you're
Here's the
insulting their
thing.
chiefs.
Now, if you had now, I'll tell you something. If it was a
It's so good, man.
municipality, right, then it would qualify. It would qualify. If it could qualify for international loans and stuff like that, plug into the Ghanaian
Kala, you complaining
other
too much, man.
international because
Man,
it's
you don't
recognized
need
as a
you
municipality.
don't need international.
Oh,
You know
so,
in
but
America, you know
then
in America, you have access to credit line in
well,
America to do that.
hold on.
You have
Hold on.
banks and
I'm gonna leave
government.
you guys with this, right? Hold on. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. College justice believed in was a acronym called LARP, was logical, achievable, reasonable, and practical. That stable situation is not LARP. It's not logical. It's not achievable. It's not reasonable and practical.
So what?
So
Kala,
don't
you're
insult my
speaking drama here,
intelligence.
man. Just
You
because you don't
know.
have money and you don't have the
You
means
know.
to build shit, you're not gonna build anything, dude. Even if they give you the whole Ghana for yourself, you won't build shit. Just
Yeah.
we know you, man. All you guys do is talk. We're gonna
He's
build.
he want a credit line. He want
Kala, he
he
wants
want a tax.
everything.
Okay.
He
Even
Right.
want
if
a
you give
tax base. You
Zongo,
need
give him the whole
settlements
Ghana, he's
to
not
have
gonna
your own
build shit,
tax
man.
base over there.
Kala, don't you have everything in America? You still can't build your
Well,
neighborhood. And you talking about you want to go? You already have everything. You can't build your neighborhood.
I'm talking
And
about
you
for the
come here
people that
talking
want
about everything you're asking
like this,
Ghanaians to
like this.
give you. You
I
already
live in,
have it in
upscale.
America.
I got
Hey
You
Mike,
can
Mike,
upscale.
see, hey Mike,
Bottom line will be nice. That's what people want to move there. You know, if people want to move there, they want to live in a community. They want to live in Africa. Hey, it's fine
hey
for them.
Kala, see,
Fine for them. You know, I'm
let me
just
tell
saying
you one
that's just
thing,
the way it
right?
is.
Kala, just stay where you are, man. Just stay where
Hey
you are.
Kala, I haven't been in the US that long, but I used to work for a utility company for a whole city in the state of Missouri, right? And I've seen how they kind of develop their cities and small towns. I mean, it starts by small settlements in the local in the farthest place from the main city.
Yeah, and the
And
government comes and puts down the infrastructure.
exactly.
The government meets it with the
Oh,
infrastructure and everything. The Guinean
but
government does not have the
yeah,
means
but
to
you gotta
Hey,
start.
develop
Zongo,
a
you know
city,
about
so they
Okay,
those
don't let
but
them
you
do
gotta
it.
white
start
South
from
Africans?
somewhere.
You know about those white South Africans that want to build that new community